Lin Jing gazed at Qingling Peak and paused for a moment. Then he directly changed direction and flew toward Qingling Peak. 70 years had passed since he last left, and Lin Jing had grown from a foundation establishment cultivator at the time of his departure to a divine transformation cultivator now. He wondered how the few people on Qingling Peak were doing after so many years. Lin Jing wanted to go up and take a look. Before long, Lin Jing arrived at the foot of Qingling Peak. Standing at the base of the mountain and looking upward, Qingling Peak stood toweringly tall. From Lin Jing's position below, it was as if he were an ant facing a towering tree. Moreover, there were many formations and prohibitions on Qingling Peak, their purpose being to prevent anyone from reaching the summit. When the demon race secret realm first opened, the ancestors of the three major sects had tried to reach the top. Despite resorting to all sorts of methods at that time, they only managed to climb a kilometer in height. They didn't even come close to reaching halfway up the mountain. Lin Jing's current cultivation was not even comparable to theirs, so his chances of climbing up were probably even less than theirs. But since he had come, he had to give it a try. After that, Lin Jing hesitated no more and began to make his move. The formations at the foot of the mountain were all of the lowest level. Lin Jing could completely disregard them and forcefully break through them without suffering any harm. However, Lin Jing didn't go straight ahead, but instead turned to the other side of the mountain base. This other side, thanks to the previous efforts of the ancestors from the three major sects, had a pathway paved, making it completely unobstructed to ascend from there. Using this pre-established path to climb the mountain, Lin Jing naturally would not go through the trouble of carving out a new path. Stepping onto that path, Lin Jing ascended all the way up, encountering no obstacles in the middle. In doing so, he climbed a kilometer up to the end of this path. Beyond that point was a forest, and within that forest floated countless formation patterns. The sudden appearance of these formation patterns looked out of place against the forest. Lin Jing took one look and knew what was going on. This entire Qingling Peak was protected by many formations. Some formations were visible in plain sight, and others had their traces concealed. If one did not step into them, one might not even be able to detect them at all. Clearly, the forest in front of him was one such formation. However, this formation had already been half solved by the three major sects, and its concealment feature had lost its effect. Hence, the situation presented as it was now. Upon seeing the forest, Lin Jing did not rush forward but extended his divine sense to scout it first. After a while of scouting, Lin Jing didn't find anything else, so he directly gathered a ball of 5 elements power and attacked the formation within. This ball of 5 elements power radiated colorful glows and swiftly advanced towards the forest ahead. Right after it entered the forest, an intensely hot aura suddenly exploded from within. A burst of flames fiercely appeared out of the forest and raced towards Lin Jing. The temperature of this flame was extremely high, and even from a distance, Lin Jing already felt the searing heat. Fortunately, the speed of the fire was relatively slow compared to Lin Jing. At the moment the flames approached, Lin Jing had already dodged. But just then, an unexpected change occurred. The flame, which Lin Jing had initially dodged, suddenly changed direction and continued to chase after Lin Jing. At the same time, another hot aura emerged from between Lin Jing's eyebrows. And then, a phantom image of the divine phoenix emerged from between Lin Jing's eyebrows and shot out. The flame, seemingly like a long-lost child reunited with its mother, rushed toward Lin Jing with even greater speed. No, it was actually rushing towards the phantom of the divine phoenix that had appeared from Lin Jing's forehead. Seeing this, Lin Jing no longer tried to avoid it. Following that, the flame arrived and collided with the divine phoenix phantom. The phantom then directly engulfed the flame. After swallowing the flames, the divine phoenix phantom immediately solidified, and then it seemed to be reborn from the ashes, its eyes filled with fiery flames. It then looked towards the summit and, with a flap of its wings, flew straight towards the top of Qingling Peak. Where the divine phoenix passed, it left behind a corridor, and the formations on either side of the corridor directly lost their effectiveness. Seeing this, Lin Jing quickly followed after the Divine Phoenix Phantom, charging towards the summit of Qingling Peak. With no formations to block him, the ascent to the top was actually very fast. In less than a quarter of an hour, Lin Jing had already arrived at the top of the peak. At that moment, the Divine Phoenix Phantom, as if it had exhausted all its energy, returned to being a phantom state and merged back into Lin Jing's forehead. This Divine Phoenix Phantom was exactly the one sent by Huang Qingling. It had been a long time since it had last appeared, leading Lin Jing to think it might have run out of energy and dissipated. Yet unexpectedly, it had reappeared this time. After coming up, Lin Jing looked at the familiar Qingling Palace in front of him with some emotion. After so many years of absence, he had returned to this place once again. Then, Lin Jing stepped inside. Entering Qingling Palace, Lin Jing immediately headed toward the largest hall in the center of the palace. Whether it was Huang Qingling herself, Elder Bai, Elder Yu, or Zhang Yuan, all three were inside that hall. Lin Jing walked quickly towards it, and it was only in front of the hall that he realized something was amiss. The doors of the hall were wide open, yet despite the wide-open doors, there was no sign of life emanating from within. Lin Jing hurriedly quickened his pace and walked into the hall. However, to his surprise, he found that not a single person was inside the hall. Lin Jing stood frozen in place. Huang Qingling, Elder Yu, Elder Bai, and Zhang Yuan, all three of them, had disappeared. Inside the Great Hall, everything else remained the same, but the shield that had originally protected Huang Qingling's true body in the middle of the hall had also vanished. It only left behind the empty Jade platform in the center. Lin Kai hurried forward, arrived at the Jade platform in the center of the Grand Hall, and inspected it. Perhaps due to the influence of Qingling Palace, there were no traces or dust on the Jade platform. Lin Jing circled the platform, inspecting it, but found nothing. Then he stepped down from it. He went to the side of the stone platforms where Elder Yu, Elder Bai, and Zhang Yuan had previously been placed. At that moment, these stone platforms were also completely empty. But after Lin Jing conducted an inspection, he found traces on the stone platform suggesting someone had lain there. Could it be that they have already left? Lin Jing couldn't help but think to himself. No one could climb up to this Qingling Peak, not even the Howling Sky Wolf clan. And now, having suddenly disappeared, it was very likely that Huang Qingling had awakened and taken them away. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible. Of course, these were just Lin Jing's own speculations, and he didn't know the actual situation. After another round inside the Grand Hall, Lin Jing found nothing and subsequently left the hall. After leaving the Grand Hall, Lin Jing continued exploring the entirety of Qingling Palace, but he still didn't find anything. Ultimately, he returned to the teleportation array he had used to leave before. The teleportation array was the same as it always had been. It just hadn't been activated in a long time. Huang Qingling had disappeared, along with Elder Bai, Elder Yu, and Zhang Yuan. They disappeared without leaving any message. Lin Jing felt somewhat bewildered for a moment. If it weren't for the fact that there were no signs of anyone coming to the Qingling Palace, Lin Jing might have even suspected that they had all been abducted by members of the demon clan. But Lin Jing knew that was impossible. It was simply not possible for anyone to climb up Qingling Peak. Earlier, Lin Jing had made a round below and even saw the formation. The highest level formation that had been deciphered covered less than half of Qingling Peak. Of course, unless someone could find a way up, similar to how Lin Jing had. But obviously that was impossible. Lin Jing went back to the Grand Hall, lingered there for a while, and then left. Upon leaving, Lin Jing felt somewhat empty inside. Perhaps it was because he was in Qingling Palace, and the Divine Phoenix mark between his eyebrows was very active. As Lin Jing prepared to leave, the Divine Phoenix silhouette reappeared and then led the way in front of him, guiding Lin Jing out of Qingling Palace. Descending from Qingling Peak, Lin Jing returned to where he had been before climbing the mountain. The Divine Phoenix silhouette then merged back into Lin Jing's forehead and disappeared after he descended the mountain. With the divine phoenix silhouette merging back into Lin Jing's forehead, the path leading to Huang Peak was also concealed, once again covered by the formation. Lin Jing stood at the foot of the mountain, looking up toward the peak. After staring for a moment, Lin Jing then turned and walked down the mountain. After leaving Qingling Peak, Lin Jing didn't linger further and left the area directly. At the entrance to the demon race secret realm, there was a market town that was on the verge of developing into a town. This market existed because of the demon race secret realm. One could say it was created by and destroyed by the demon race secret realm. Previously, the market had developed to a certain scale right at the time when the three major sects were preparing to invest heavily and develop it into an immortal city. But then the Howling Sky Wolf clan suddenly arrived. Because the attack was so sudden, the Howling Sky Wolf clan quickly took over the demon race secret realm and invaded the entire Nanming domain from the realm. And this well-developed market was the first to be hit, completely destroyed. Even the people who escaped from the market were few. Afterward, Nanming domain couldn't withstand the Howling Sky Wolf clan and was completely defeated, with the clan invading much of the domain. It wasn't until later, when the forces from the Western Demon region came to aid, that they drove the Howling Sky Wolf clan back into the demon race secret realm. The two solidifying body realm cultivators who came to assist directly sealed the entrance to the demon race secret realm. And this Fang market had been rebuilt and turned into a stronghold for watching over the entrance to the demon race secret realm by the three major sects. Until not long ago, when the seven major demon clan had joined hands in a raid. As soon as the news arrived, this market had once again descended into chaos. Within less than an hour, this market was abandoned again, with everyone previously stationed here fleeing the area. However, this time the market was not destroyed. For before the seven powerful beings of the demon clan could appear, a mysterious top cultivator entered the demon race secret realm and defeated them all, and destroyed the teleportation array, expelling them all from the demon race secret realm. Since then, the Nanming domain no longer had to worry about invasions from the demon clan. With no more threats from the demon clan, the market also began to develop once again. Now it had already taken on the form of a small town. And within this town, the ancestor of the Qingling sword sect had been constantly stationed, reportedly because that mysterious top cultivator was inside the secret realm. So he was stationed here to guard against anyone entering the secret realm and offending that mysterious top cultivator. This showed his deep regard for the mysterious top cultivator within the secret realm. With the Qingling sword sect ancestor in place, although many were extremely curious, no one dared to rashly enter. Otherwise, it is estimated that before the mysterious top cultivator in the secret realm could take action, the Qingling sword sect ancestor would have directly eliminated them on the spot. In the blink of an eye, it had been a month since the Qingling sword sect ancestor took his post here. That day, the Qingling sword sect ancestor was guarding the entrance to the secret realm as usual. Just then, suddenly, several presences transmitted from a distance. The Qingling sword sect ancestor then opened his eyes and looked into the distance. He saw several figures flying towards him. Seeing these figures, the Qingling sword sect ancestor immediately stood up, because the two people flying at the front were the two solidifying body realm cultivators who supported the Nanming domain. Behind them, there were also a younger male and female disciple from their sects. Following those two disciples was the ancestor from the Yun Pavilion. By this time, even he had arrived. Upon seeing this situation, the elder of the Nanming immortal sect immediately understood what was happening. Previously, when the group was preparing to leave, the senior had said he would stay inside for at most a month. Now that a month had passed, and these two from the Western Demon region had brought sect disciples with them, it seemed likely they wanted them to meet the senior. It was quite a normal thought. After all, with the senior's cultivation level, just a few pointers from him would be beneficial for a lifetime. When the group arrived near the entrance to the secret realm, they went directly to the elder of the Nanming immortal sect. Two seniors. Seeing them arrive, the elder of the Nanming immortal sect stepped forward and bowed his hands in salute to the two. The two nodded gently, and then the solidifying body realm cultivator from the Qingling Dao sect spoke. During our time away, has there been any movement in this secret realm? The elder of the Nanming immortal sect then spoke. Aside from the initial disturbances, there have been no further movements during this time. The solidifying body realm cultivator from the Qingling Dao sect nodded after hearing this. This period must have been demanding for you. Senior Sure and the others should be coming out soon. Let's just wait together for Senior Sure to emerge. Yes, replied the elder of the Nanming immortal sect. Having said that, he turned and said to the young cultivator behind him, Changxian, when Senior Sure comes out, remember to be respectful. Senior Sure is a Mahayana cultivator, and the Sure family is very renowned in the Eastern spiritual realm. Gaining favor from Senior Sure could be very beneficial for your future. The young man nodded, then spoke. Uncle Master, rest assured. At the same time, on the other side, GC's father also turned back to address the woman behind him. See ya. You're about to head to the Eastern spiritual realm. I won't say much else. Just remember to make a good impression on Senior Sure. And this time go to the Eastern spiritual realm. Don't be willful again. It turned out the two young disciples were the talented disciples from the Xinglua Elixir sect and the Qingling Dao sect respectively, Jixia and Mo Changxian. I understand, Father. Jixia nodded in response. At that moment, Jixia looked modest and proper, without a trace of the laziness and relaxation she had shown in front of Lin Jing. Mo Changxian also had an extraordinary presence, with his sharp eyebrows and bright eyes. Indeed, the two of them seemed to be a match made in heaven. However, Jixia seemed to have no interest in Mo Changxian at all. From the time they arrived until now, aside from responding to her father, she had not made any other movements. She just stayed there. While Mo Changxian also stayed in place, he glanced at Jixia a few times, intentionally or not. And Jixia, as if she heard nothing, did not show any reaction. Just as everyone had arrived and waited for a moment, the entrance to the demon race secret realm suddenly emitted a fluctuation. Seeing this fluctuation, those waiting hurriedly prepared. Even Jixia and Mo Changxian straightened up and respectfully looked towards the entrance of the secret realm. After all, that was a cultivator from the Mahayana realm, and they naturally did not dare to be negligent. Shortly thereafter, those gathered saw the fluctuations at the entrance of the secret realm grow increasingly intense like ripples, and at that moment, a figure emerged from the entrance. After leaving Qingling Peak, Lin Jing did not stop but directly flew towards the exit of the secret realm. Upon reaching the exit, Lin Jing walked straight towards it. Just as he was about to step through the exit and leave the secret realm, he suddenly stopped. Then, Lin Jing turned around and looked back at the secret realm. Within this demon race secret realm, Lin Jing had obtained the cleansing spirit liquid, eliminated his enemy Lu Yiyuan, and also encountered danger. Too much had happened in this secret realm. Now, in the secret realm, Huang, Qingling, and the others had also disappeared without a trace, their whereabouts unknown. This secret realm now held no more attachments for him. If nothing unexpected happened, Lin Jing would probably leave this secret realm and not return. After looking back, Lin Jing turned around and took a step out, heading toward the outside of the secret realm. Just as one foot stepped out of the secret realm, Lin Jing realized something was amiss. When his entire body passed through the exit, the scene before his eyes also left him momentarily stunned. Two body-solidifying cultivators from the two major sects of the Western Demon region were there in the Nanming domain. Behind them stood a young man and woman. Lin Jing did not recognize the man, but from his attire and the aura of cultivation emanating from him, he seemed to be no ordinary person. As for the woman, Lin Jing was quite familiar with her. It was Jixia. Behind these two were the elders from the Qingyuan sword sect and Yiyun Pavilion. It's you. Both Jixia's father and the body-solidifying cultivator from the Qingling Dao sect exclaimed simultaneously. Seeing that the first to come out was Lin Jing, They were evidently very surprised. In their minds, even if two people were to emerge, it should have been Elixir coming out first, followed closely by Lin Jing. Just as they finished speaking, another cry of astonishment was heard, coming from GCE. Lin Jing, what are you doing here? Upon hearing this, GCE's father and the body-solidifying cultivator from the Qingling Dao sect quickly turned back to look at GCE. Even Mo Changxian, not understanding the situation, turned his head to look at GCE. Xie, you know this fellow cultivator? Though GCE's father asked the question, his tone obviously carried a hint of pleasant surprise. GCE nodded and softly said, "Yes, I have known Lin Daoyu for quite some time now." At that moment, Lin Jing also reacted and clasped his hands in greeting towards GCE's father and the body-solidifying cultivator from the Qingling Dao sect. "Elders, you are here to welcome Elixir, are you not?" The two turned back to Lin Jing and nodded. "Indeed, might I ask, fellow cultivator, is Elixir still within the secret realm?" Lin Jing shook his head. Elixir has already left the secret realm and gone to the outer spatial void. So, he went to the outer spatial void. No wonder. The two sighed, clearly disappointed. After all, their purpose was to greet Elixir here, and with his absence, their prior arrangements were all for naught. However, they were only disappointed for a moment before regaining their composure, and then they turned their attention back to Lin Jing. Still, GCE's father reacted quickly, immediately smiling warmly. "Fellow Lin, it seems as it? I am Xie's father. May I know when the two of you made each other's acquaintance?" After he finished, he glanced at GCE. "That girl Xie really is quite tight-lipped, never mentioning this to me before. I apologize for any oversight towards you, fellow Lin." Upon hearing this, Lin Jing appeared very courteous. "Elder G is too polite. I have some connections with the Yin family on Spirit Rock Island, and I met fellow G during my time there." Upon hearing this, GCE's father suddenly realized. So that's how it is. Xie went to Spirit Rock Island to help deliver the white Jade cleansing spirit grass. Thinking about it, that must have been 20 years ago. I hadn't realized that the two of you have known each other for so long. Just as GCE's father was about to further inquire, the body-solidifying cultivator from the Qingling Dao sect suddenly interjected. "Fellow Lin, seeing you so young and already at the divinity transformation stage, your future must be limitless," he said. After finishing, he pointed to Mo Changxian behind him and said, "This is Mo Changxian, the finest disciple of the Qingling Dao sect. You appear to be of similar age. You could exchange views more often in the future." As soon as he finished speaking, Mo Changxian stepped forward, cupped his fists, and said to Lin Jing, "Lin Daoyu, it's my good fortune to meet you." "It's my good fortune as well." Lin Jing returned the gesture. At this moment, GCE's father also timely spoke up. "This is Elder Tao from the Qingling Dao sect, who has reached the third layer of the solidifying body stage." "So, it's Elder Tao. My apologies for any disrespect." Lin Jing then bowed with his hands clasped together. "Lin Xiaoyu, you are too courteous," Elder Tao said with a smile. After finishing, he opened his mouth again and asked Lin Jing, "If I may be so bold as to ask, what is your relationship with Elixir?" Having said that, Elder Tao turned towards Lin Jing, waiting for his response. At this moment, GCE's father also leaned in closer. Clearly, this was what both of them were most concerned about. Lin Jing smiled slightly and then said, "Actually, I haven't known Elixir for too long either. It was after coming to the Naming domain that we met. I merely helped him with some matters." Lin Jing's response was quite simple and didn't reveal much. But it was enough. Upon hearing Lin Jing's response, both men were slightly disappointed. They had initially thought Lin Jing had a special relationship with Grandfather Shi, hoping to rely on Lin Jing to establish some connection with the Shi family of the Eastern spiritual realm. After knowing Lin Jing's circumstances, their expectations were dashed. However, after a brief disappointment, they quickly rationalized and regained their composure. After all, that was a Mahayana cultivator. If Lin Jing truly had an extremely close relationship with him, he wouldn't have simply left Lin Jing behind. At the very least, he would have escorted him back to the Eastern spiritual realm. Having thought this over, Jixie's father spoke again. Xia, since you and Lin Xiaoyu are old acquaintances, why don't you two head back together? Elder Tao and I need to check inside the secret realm of the demon clan again. All right, father, Jixie replied immediately. Afterward, Elder Tao also instructed Mo Changxian briefly and then entered the demon clan's secret realm with Jixie's father. After the two men had left, Jixie turned back to Lin Jing, smiling slightly as she said, Lin Daoyu, I didn't expect you to reach the divinity transformation stage so quickly. It truly amazes me. Lin Jing then looked at Jixie, smiling as he spoke. Ji Daoyu, you aren't far behind either. Aren't you also at the divinity transformation stage now? The aura of cultivation on Jixie's body was the same as Lin Jing's, both at the first level of divinity transformation. However, the aura of Jixie's cultivation was still not very stable, clearly indicating she had just advanced to divinity transformation recently. As for Lin Jing, after passing the heavenly tribulation, his cultivation had skyrocketed, breaking through to the third layer of divinity transformation. The level of cultivation Lin Jing was displaying was merely a disguise of the first layer of divinity transformation, using the Chongyuan hidden technique. Upon hearing Lin Jing's words, Jixie couldn't help but shoot Lin Jing a glance filled with allure. You can compare yourself to me? I've been at the nascent soul peak stage for quite some time already. This breakthrough to divinity transformation only happened recently with the help of the sect. And you? Jixie sized up Lin Jing from head to toe, then began speaking, her tone somewhat sour. You certainly have an extraordinary fortune. 20 years ago, when Lin Jing and Jixie met, Jixie had already reached the nascent soul peak stage, while Lin Jing was only at the 7th level of the nascent soul. Now, 20 years later to meet again with equivalent levels of cultivation, and hers was only achieved with the sect's aid. Jixie felt quite speechless, as if all her dedicated cultivation had become a joke. And naturally, Lin Jing understood Jixie's implication. She didn't mention it outright also because such matters were too sensational, especially since it wasn't just the two of them here. Moreover, for Lin Jing to have advanced so quickly, he surely had his own secrets. Jixie naturally wouldn't disclose them, which was why she spoke that way. Lin Jing laughed and replied, You had the sect's assistance, and I naturally had help as well. Truth be told, neither of our fortunes are shallow. Jixie, upon hearing this, also smiled. Indeed, being in a powerful sect is my greatest fortune. I was overly concerned. Seeing Lin Jing and Jixie chatting so happily, Mo Changxian seemed a bit upset, but didn't show it too obviously. As soon as Jixie finished speaking, Mo Changxian took this opportunity to say, What Xie said is true. As disciples of the sect, from the moment we were born, we received opportunities many people can only dream of. Being born in the sect is our fortune, but also our restraint. On the other hand, Lin Daoyu, standing alone, unencumbered, is something I truly envy. After saying this, Mo Changxian turned his head to continue speaking to Lin Jing. Lin Daoyu, perhaps you aren't aware yet that Jixie and I will soon be heading to the Eastern spiritual realm. Heading to the Eastern spirit realm. I do so for the sake of the sect and for myself. I just don't know how long it will be before I can return again. Although Mo Changxian seemed to be reflecting, his words sounded somewhat uncomfortable to the ear. However, Lin Jing seemed to not catch his actual intent, and instead express surprise. You going to the Eastern spirit realm? Lin Jing didn't react, but Jixie, on the other hand, seemed displeased and spoke directly. All right, Mo Changxian, we should be heading back now. Seeing that Jixie was somewhat unhappy, Mo Changxian subsequently fell silent. Afterward, Jixie spoke to Lin Jing. I'll tell you about this matter once we get back. Upon hearing this, Lin Jing nodded. Then, the three of them prepared to leave, and the elders of the Qingyuan sword sect and Yun Pavilion also came forward. Looking at the two elders, Lin Jing couldn't help feeling sentimental. Previously, he had been a spirit farmer for the Qingyuan sword sect and had even joined Yuebao Tower, becoming an offering pill master. Yuebao Tower was the property of Yun Pavilion. Who would have thought that now, in terms of cultivation, he was on par with the elders of both sects? It was unimaginable if he were to tell these elders of his past experiences how they would feel. Shock and surprise would certainly be included. I just wonder if they would have regrets. Of course, this kind of matter was something Lin Jing could only ponder. He was determined not to disclose it carelessly. Of course, as for his past experiences, he would not deliberately conceal them. If the other party wanted to investigate, it was up to them. Thereafter, Lin Jing bid farewell to the two elders with his companions, and the trio made their departure. Having returned from the demon race secret realm, Lin Jing went straight back to his small courtyard in Nanshan, Immortal City. Although the Li family had moved to Liyan Island, the small courtyard remained. Arriving with Lin Jing was Ji Xie. Initially, Mo Changxian wanted to invite Ji Xie to return to the two sects with him, but she outright refused. Left with no choice, Mo Changxian went back alone. The two reached the small courtyard, where layers of dust had accumulated. The withered yellow leaves had piled up layer upon layer as well. As for other areas, fallen withered leaves were everywhere. The pond that had been used to keep fish was now murky and unclean. After all, Lin Jing had not returned for 20 years, so the condition of the courtyard was somewhat understandable. Ji Xie looked at the courtyard, then turned to Lin Jing with a puzzled expression. "How many years has it been since you last came here?" "It wasn't like this when I was around," Lin Jing responded. "Not long after you left, I moved away. During this time, I traveled around, then Master Shi gave me some guidance. I've been cultivating for a few years, and it wasn't long after I had stepped into divinity transformation that I met you." "I see." Ji Xie nodded. "But you advanced to divinity transformation so quickly, especially the realization right before you managed to perfect it so fast. You should know, others need at least decades to achieve that." As she spoke, Ji Xie couldn't help but size up Lin Jing. "Do you have some kind of secret? Tell me about it." Lin Jing turned his head and glanced at Ji Xie. The Ji Xie before him no longer held her former dignified composure. In front of Lin Jing, she appeared as relaxed as she would be with a friend, with no need for many reservations. "You know, I am originally from this Nanming domain. After you left, I traveled around the Nanming domain, experienced some things, and met a few old acquaintances. After my journey ended, my realization was close to perfection. So that's how it was." Ji Xie suddenly understood. "To think you perfected your realization in such a way." Lin Jing nodded, then lifted his hand, conjuring a whirlwind. This whirlwind, though not large, immediately began to wander through the courtyard, sweeping up the fallen leaves and dust wherever it passed. In just a short moment, the entire courtyard was spotlessly cleaned by the whirlwind. At this point, Lin Jing asked Ji Xie, "How about some tea?" Ji Xie nodded. "That would be nice." Lin Jing gave a gentle nod, then walked to the pavilion in the middle of the courtyard. He took out a tea set from his space ring and placed it on the table in the center of the pavilion. Next, he simply waved his hand in the air, drawing forth a sphere of clear water, which he then let into the kettle for boiling. After completing these actions, he finally conjured a ball of flame under the kettle, then left it to be, allowing the tea water to slowly come to a boil. By this time, Ji Xie had also settled down in the pavilion. Previously, when she came to Lin Jing to repair the elixir scripture, she had frequented this place. She was quite familiar with it. And now, it was still the two of them in the same courtyard. Only, they were somewhat different from before. Staying in this courtyard, they both felt as if they were experiencing a sense of déjà vu. "Let's talk about you. How have you been? If I'm not mistaken, you've become a 6th grade alchemist and successfully nullified your betrothal, haven't you?" Lin Jing looked at Ji Xie, then spoke. Ji Xie nodded. "Yes. As for Mo Changxian, whom you met today, I don't like him at all. If it weren't for the fact that I can't ruin the relationship between our two sects, I wouldn't even want to deal with him. Lin Jing smiled. I actually think he quite likes you. Jie gave Lin Jing a white look. Him? Better forget it. The good attitude he showed you today is probably because of Senior Sure. Usually, he is quite different from how he was today. After hearing this, Lin Jing nodded. After all, he had only met Mo Changxian once and naturally could not claim to understand him. Nor could he make a groundless judgment based on this one encounter. Gurgle, gurgle. The tea water kept rolling in the pot, already boiling. At this moment, without waiting for Lin Jing to take action, Jie had already taken the initiative, lifting the teapot to start brewing. Until the brewing was finished, Jie pushed one of the teacups in front of Lin Jing. Only then did Lin Jing speak, asking, "Are you going to the Eastern Spirit Realm?" Jie had just picked up the teacup, paused for a moment, then put down the teacup and said, "Yes. Since the last time I went back, I immersed myself in studying the elixir scripture you helped me repair, and after several years, I finally advanced to a 6th grade alchemist. After advancing to a 6th grade alchemist, I participated in the alchemy competition of our Western Demon region and got 2nd place. It was only after the alchemy competition that I found out that people from the Elixir Alliance in the Eastern Spirit Realm had also observed the competition. They noticed my talent for alchemy, specifically invited me to join the Elixir Alliance to obtain better opportunities and to have the chance to reach the real peak of alchemy Dao. Elixir Alliance? Lin Jing had not heard of this organization, so he was a bit puzzled. It sounds like a purely alchemist organization. Jie nodded. It's normal for you not to have heard of it. Even I heard of it for the first time. Having said that, Jie picked up the teacup, took a small sip, and then continued. The Elixir Alliance is indeed an organization consisting only of alchemists. Moreover, it is an organization that only those true high-level alchemists can join. To join the Elixir Alliance, one must at least possess the strength of a 6th grade alchemist, and if they are too old with no hope of breakthrough, the Elixir Alliance will not accept them, even if they are long-standing 6th grade alchemists. Everyone who joins the Elixir Alliance is a pill-refining talent with exceptional potential. I see, Lin Jing said, coming to a realization. If that is the case, the strength of the Elixir Alliance must be extraordinary indeed. Naturally, GCS said, the Elixir Alliance itself already possesses impressive strength, and I heard that there are legendary 9th grade alchemists within the Alliance. What's more important is that the Elixir Alliance is an extremely special organization within the Eastern Spirit Realm. The Elixir Alliance typically only focuses on alchemy and does not join in the disputes of other forces. And since the Elixir Alliance is essentially made up of alchemists, they can refine some of the top-tier elixir medicines that are extremely difficult to concoct. Therefore, the Elixir Alliance has good relations with many other forces, and if anyone foolishly provokes them, many forces will take the initiative to help without the Alliance having to act. After listening, Lin Jing nodded gently. This Elixir Alliance is indeed extraordinary. Then, Lin Jing continued to ask, so if you join the Elixir Alliance, there won't be any problems with the Qingling Elixir sect, right? Jie nodded. After joining the Elixir Alliance, the Qingling Elixir sect won't be at a disadvantage. The Elixir Alliance will not only gift some resources to my current sect, but also provide some other compensations. Besides, joining the Elixir Alliance is one of the most proud achievements for us pill sects. Many sects spend a considerable amount of resources to train a disciple to join the Elixir Alliance. Yet, in the end, very few succeed in joining. My ability to join the Elixir Alliance is a positive development, so naturally, my sect wouldn't obstruct it. This is also why my marriage withdrawal went so smoothly. No wonder, Lin Jing nodded. It made sense. Joining the Elixir Alliance was a joyous event all pill sects yearned for, and since Jie had been recognized by the Alliance, she naturally couldn't become Dao companions with Mo Changxian. Otherwise, the Elixir Alliance would probably be the first to disagree. Understanding all this, Lin Jing was relieved. After a while, Lin Jing suddenly remembered another matter. He then asked Ji Xia again. Ji Daoyu, you were seen by the Elixir Alliance and recruited as a disciple, and now you are heading to the Eastern Spirit Realm. What about Imo Changxian? Didn't he say he was also going to the Eastern Spirit Realm? Could he have another opportunity? Ji Xia said, Imo Changxian is different from me. He is going to the Eastern Spirit Realm because the Yuling Dao sect paid a price for him to cultivate in the better-resourced Eastern Spirit Realm. Our paths aren't even the same. I see. Lin Jing suddenly understood. Ji Daoyu, your joining the Elixir Alliance means your accomplishments will surely be extraordinary in the future. I would like to offer my congratulations in advance. Lin Jing said with a smile. Ji Xia then looked at Lin Jing, her expression serious. Lin Daoyu, other people may not realize it, but I am well aware that your achievements will in no way be inferior to mine. I believe it won't be long before I see you again in the Eastern Spirit Realm. Lin Jing and Ji Xia talked for a long time, not parting until dusk was nearing, when Ji Xia bid farewell and left. After Ji Xia left, Lin Jing cleaned up the other areas of the courtyard. Once done, he went back into the room to ensure even the interior was tidied up. Next, Lin Jing also planned to reside there for a while, taking the opportunity to try to understand his divine skills. Having entered the divinity transformation stage, it was time to comprehend his own divine skills. A divine transformation cultivator with divine skills and one without were starkly different beings. Basically, the first thing every cultivator who just entered the divinity transformation stage did was to comprehend their own divine skills. Of course, there were exceptions, such as Ji Xia. After cleaning up, Lin Jing returned to the room and then directly summoned the system. Enter the system space. As Lin Jing's words fell, in the next moment he vanished from the room and entered the system space. Inside the system space, as soon as Lin Jing's vision cleared, he saw a vibrant array of colors before him. In front of Lin Jing, various spirit plants in the spirit field were ripe in abundance. There were crisp and translucent spirit grass. There were brightly colored flowers dripping with hue. And of course, there were the red and luscious spirit fruits hanging on the branches, almost bending them with their weight. Ever since he began his travels, Lin Jing had not entered the system space again. During his travels, immersed in the mundane world, perceiving the heavens and the earth, he naturally put the system space to the back of his mind. After returning from his travels, he had been with Grandpa San the whole time and hadn't had the opportunity to enter the system space again. Therefore, it wasn't until now that he re-entered the system space. 20 years had passed in the outside world, but with the 7th level flow of time speed in the system space, 140 years had passed inside. 140 years was indeed not a short time. In his spirit field now, apart from those 4th-rank special spirit plants and some 5th-rank spirit plants, all the other spirit plants had ripened. Some had even outlived their lifespan, causing tremendous changes to the whole plant, like the blood-red vermilion fruit tree in front of Lin Jing. Several massive blood-red vermilion fruits hung on the branches. These vermilion fruits were at least half as large as the others and were as freshly spilled blood, vivid and striking. Even just standing at the edge of the spirit field, Lin Jing could smell the light fragrance emanating from the blood-red vermilion fruits. This was a sign that the blood-red vermilion fruits were already fully ripe. With the spirit plants mature, it was time to harvest. First, Lin Jing activated his divine sense to envelop the entire spirit field, and then he classified all the ripe spirit plants. Since these mature spirit plants were different after sorting them out, Lin Jing further divided them based on the types of spirit plants. Some plants only needed to have their fruits picked without harming the plant itself, while others, like spirit grass, needed to be cut from the root, leaving some stems which could continue to grow. Then there were some, like the vine-type spirit plants, that required the use of the plant's roots, so these needed to be uprooted entirely, after which a section of the rootstock could be planted back in the spirit field to continue growing. Under the might of Lin Jing's divine sense, it took only a moment to sort these spirit plants. After that, Lin Jing began the harvesting process. Ding! System notice. Congratulations to the host for harvesting the high-grade spiritual plant, blood red vermilion fruit, and receiving a reward of 420 harvest points. Ding! System notice. Congratulations to the host for harvesting the high-grade spiritual plant, 1000 spirits divine leaf, and receiving a reward of 560 harvest points. Ding! System notice. Congratulations to the host for harvesting the low-tier spirit plant, moon crow root, and receiving a reward of 280 harvest points. For a time, countless system notices popped up one after another. And so, this harvest, taking less than 4 hours, saw all mature spirit plants in the spirit field reaped by Lin Jing. After the entire harvest, Lin Jing couldn't wait to open the system panel and check it. The system panel displayed prominently, upgrade requirement, 171579/100000 harvest points. From this harvest of spirit plants, Lin Jing had accumulated over 150,000 harvest points. Adding the 10,000 or so he already had, his current total was now more than 170,000 points. 170,000 harvest points were actually quite substantial. After checking the harvest points and seeing the barren spirit field, Lin Jing got busy again. With the spirit plants harvested, it was time to plant anew. The spirit field couldn't be left empty. Several more hours passed by the time Lin Jing planted the spirit field full again. After the planting was complete, Lin Jing got up with satisfaction. Then, he categorized the harvested spirit plants and placed them all in the space ring. Having done all this, Lin Jing finally left the spirit field and headed towards the alchemy room. Upon entering the alchemy room, Lin Jing sat down cross-legged. He wasn't there to perform alchemy, but rather, he wanted to practice divine skills. Previously, in the Five Elements Cave Mansion, Lin Jing obtained a Jade slip from the main hall, which had been left by a senior who had practiced the immortal 5 elements technique. Lin Jing certainly hadn't forgotten about that Jade slip. The content within the Jade slip was of great help to him. More importantly, the Jade slip had a second half that could only be accessed by a divine transformation cultivator. Now that Lin Jing had entered divinity transformation, he naturally wanted to take out the Jade slip and closely examine it. Lin Jing retrieved the Jade slip from within the space ring. He then directly delved into it. Lin Jing was already familiar with the content of the Jade slip, so he skipped over the beginning. Instead, he searched further back, and soon, Lin Jing reached the sealed area again. The senior who had left this Jade slip had once said that to continue viewing the content beyond, one must enter the state of divinity transformation and use the power of the soul spirit to break this seal. Lin Jing didn't hesitate and immediately mobilized a strand of his soul spirit, rushing towards the seal in the Jade slip. Boom! The force of Lin Jing's soul spirit collided with the seal. The seemingly indestructible seal was merely touched by that slight force from Lin Jing's soul spirit, and it shattered like a crumbling tile. It seemed that this was also intentionally done by the senior who left the Jade slip, making it effortless for Lin Jing to break the seal after entering divinity transformation. Having broken the seal, Lin Jing then eagerly extended his divine sense to start viewing the subsequent content. As soon as Lin Jing's divine sense caught sight of the content beyond, it was immediately captivated because these contents were methods for comprehending divine skills. Although Grandpa San had previously given him some methods to comprehend divine skills, this Jade slip was left by a senior who had practiced the immortal Tao 5 elements technique, making him essentially a senior from the same sect as Lin Jing. This method was certainly of greater help to him. This time, Lin Jing delved into the Jade slip for a long time until he had browsed through all the content at the back. Only then did he withdraw his divine sense from the Jade slip. After withdrawing his divine sense, Lin Jing continued to sit cross-legged there, pondering for a long time. Indeed, there was a set of methods to comprehend divine skills in the Jade slip, and it was extremely suitable for Lin Jing. Other cultivators could be bestowed with divine arts from within the sect, or they could comprehend them on their own. But those who practiced the immortal Tao 5 elements technique could only rely on their self-comprehension. The immortal Tao 5 elements technique and the 5 elements divine art, ever since they were created by the 5 elements Ancestor, those who had practiced this technique, even if they hadn't advanced to the forefront, were at least numerous. Theoretically, since they all practiced the same technique, the divine skills mastered by the 5 elements Ancestor and other seniors practicing the immortal Tao 5 elements technique should be transmittable. But the immortal Tao 5 elements technique was an exception. Anyone practicing the immortal Tao 5 elements technique, regardless of what divine skills they had comprehended, would never pass them down. And later generations of practitioners could only rely on their own comprehension. Just like Lin Jing's current situation, the Jade slip contained no divine skills left by that senior. In fact, he didn't even mention them. Initially, Lin Jing had wanted to refer to that senior's divine skills. Now, he also had to abandon this idea. However, that senior had also mentioned in the Jade slip that each cultivator practicing the immortal Tao 5 elements technique has divine skills related to their other cultivation techniques or magical treasures. The immortal Tao 5 elements technique cultivates 5 types of spiritual powers, gathered together by the 5 elements. But precisely because it brings together the 5 elements, the balance among the 5 types of spiritual powers causes some difficulty when refining divine skills. Only by focusing on other cultivation techniques or special methods as the primary and the 5 elements as a secondary can one more easily refine their own divine skills. Of course, over the countless years, many have cultivated the immortal Tao 5 elements technique, with certainly some who took the 5 elements divine art as the core to comprehend divine skills. There were indeed those who succeeded, and the divine skills they comprehended were also formidable. These individuals either devoted more time and energy than the average person or had extraordinary comprehension skills, beyond what ordinary people could achieve. At this moment, Lin Jing was contemplating what type of divine skill he exactly needed. After contemplating for a while, Lin Jing gave up. Having just entered divinity transformation, it was naturally impossible for him to comprehend divine skills that rapidly. This matter wasn't urgent for now, so it was still better to take it slow. Beyond comprehending divine skills, there was another part of the content related to advancing to the solidifying body realm. To advance to the solidifying body realm, one must cultivate a 5 elements spiritual body. Only by merging the 5 elements can one enter the solidifying body realm. Only after reviewing the Jade slip did Lin Jing understand. Previously, in the demon race secret realm, Sia's father and the giant silhouettes behind the 7 great demon cultivators from the demon clan were indeed the 5 element spiritual bodies they had cultivated. Cultivators cultivating the 5 element spiritual body could use it to mobilize the spiritual power of heaven and earth at will, using it for themselves, allowing them to exert strength several times beyond their own. And cultivating this 5 element spiritual body was not a simple task. 5 elements spiritual power needed to gather together. At this step, the advantage of having a 5 element spiritual root became evident. Those with a 5 elements spiritual root, harboring all 5 elements, found it extremely simple to condense the 5 elements spiritual power. However, for those cultivators without a 5 elements spiritual root, it was exceedingly difficult. They might have once been peerless geniuses with a single spiritual root, cultivating at a rapid pace. Or perhaps they had dual spiritual roots, regarded as elites within a sect. But at the stage of the solidifying body realm, they had to cultivate spiritual power of their own attributes, condense the true spirit, and seek true spirits of other attributes that were dispersed between heaven and earth to compensate for their missing spiritual roots. Only when the true spirits of all 5 attributes were gathered could they merge together and advance to the solidifying body realm. 5 elements true spirits are a type of spiritual body birth when spiritual power reaches its pinnacle. Unlike spirits or other spiritual bodies, they have no life, yet are immensely compatible with spiritual power. Cultivators, besides relying on their cultivation, could also find some spawning in certain places in the cultivation world. However, the conditions for its birth are exceedingly harsh. Only in those special places where the spiritual power is particularly rich is it possible for them to appear, and they are extremely rare. Although 5 elements, true spirits possess no intelligence. Capturing them is also incredibly difficult. Therefore, for other cultivators wishing to advance to the solidifying body realm, it was not easy. Compared to those cultivators with other kinds of spiritual roots, Lin Jing, possessing a 5-element spiritual root, only needed to continuously cultivate in order to form true spirits of all 5 attributes, and thus cultivate a 5-element spiritual body, advancing to the solidifying body realm. Although at this step, Lin Jing's process might be much simpler than theirs, it was not necessarily faster than their speed of advancement. Because all those genius disciples who joined large sects had their sects start looking for 5 elements true spirits for them right from the outset. Even some top-notch sects, with their terrifying resources, found a few 5 elements true spirits to be a mere trifle. They did not need to worry at all. After reaching the solidifying body realm, there is still some difference between the 5 elements spiritual root and other spiritual roots. That is, the true spirits condensed from a 5-element spiritual root are more compatible with oneself than those captured from between heaven and earth. Naturally, there will also be some difference in their combat power. Cultivators with a 5 elements spiritual root in the solidifying body realm will be much stronger than those who use captured true spirits. However, because all those who possess a 5 elements are classified as mixed spiritual roots, their cultivation speed is exceedingly slow. Struggling to even advance to the golden core, let alone the solidifying body realm, becomes immensely challenging. Millions of years ago, the entire cultivation world no longer saw a cultivator with a 5 elements spiritual root reach this step. Especially nowadays, having a 5-element spiritual root almost directly signifies a bleak path of cultivation. Even those top-notch sects that are not lacking in resources would not waste their effort to nurture such a wastrel. Although Lin Jing also had a 5-element spiritual root, he had the system space, and it was with the aid of the system space that he had reached this stage. Moreover, Lin Jing had also obtained cleansing spirit liquid, refined the cleansing spirit elixir, and enhanced his spirit root aptitude. Although it was a 5 elements spiritual root, his cultivation speed had already reached the pace of triple or even dual spiritual roots. The entire content of the Jade slip covered these 2 aspects. Whether it was due to the limitations of the previous cultivator's cultivation, this Jade slip did not include some subsequent information. But even this was enough. In the last part of the Jade slip, the previous owner of the slip emphatically advised Lin Jing to make a journey to the 5 elements ruins. He said it would be immensely helpful to him. Actually, without the reminder from this predecessor, Lin Jing would have still gone there. After all, Lin Jing's current immortal Tao 5 elements technique only reached up to the nascent soul peak, and he no longer had follow-up cultivation techniques beyond that. The subsequent phases of the immortal Tao 5 elements technique were located within the 5 elements ruins, so Lin Jing definitely needed to visit the 5 elements ruins to seek further techniques. To enter the 5 elements ruins, one must gather all 5 elements command tokens. Lin Jing currently has 2 of them in his possession. The other 3 are distributed with Mingwu holding 2 and Bai 1. If Lin Jing wishes to enter the 5 elements ruins and cultivate the complete immortal 5 elements technique, he must obtain the remaining 3 tokens from them. However, the 5 elements command tokens are far too precious for either of them to relinquish voluntarily, and their cultivation levels are certainly not low. It seems unlikely that he can seize them by force. Therefore, in order to enter the 5 elements ruins, he must find them and cooperate together to collect all 5 elements command tokens and gain access to the ruins. Nevertheless, Lin Jing, who has just entered the divinity transformation stage, has yet to comprehend any divine arts, and even his cultivation level is significantly lower than theirs. If Lin Jing were to rashly reveal that he possesses the 5 elements command tokens, his situation would become very dangerous. Lin Jing has no doubts that they would kill for the tokens. Even though he now possesses the cultivation at the divinity transformation stage, it doesn't necessarily mean he can match them. Moreover, he has just advanced to divinity transformation and hasn't yet grasped any divine arts. Lin Jing, if he wants to enter the 5 elements ruins, needs to wait till he has fully assimilated the cultivation from the demon infant within him and grasped his own divine arts. After digesting the cultivation of the demon infant, Lin Jing should at least be able to break through to between the 5th and 6th layer of divinity transformation. With the cultivation of the 5th or 6th layer of divinity transformation, although he may not be quite a match for Li Mingwu, he should be comparable to Bai Yi and the others. Even with his concurrent practice of a martial Dao, Lin Jing could have the strength to fight Li Mingwu. With that, Lin Jing would not fear any of them. Further, there's another point. One of the tokens in his possession he acquired during his last visit to the 5 Elements Cave Mansion. If he were to carelessly bring it out, it would certainly be extremely disadvantageous for him, and might even alert the others, potentially leading them to join forces against him. Hence, Lin Jing does not plan to reveal the 5 elements with command, but intends to find another way to dispose of or directly sell it. By then, possessing the 5 elements fire command will be sufficient for him. After reviewing the content on the Jade slip, Lin Jing put it away. Once he stored the Jade slip, he took out another from his space ring. This Jade slip contained the Dao transformation divinity technique he obtained from Immortal Crossing Island. Lin Jing had been cultivating this cultivation technique, but he had only practiced half of it. The first half of the Dao transformation divinity technique, which can reinforce one's divine sense, doesn't have cultivation level restrictions for practice. The latter part, however, requires a cultivator to have reached the divinity transformation stage to continue. Lin Jing glanced at it previously, but only briefly. When he realized he couldn't cultivate it further, he gave up and didn't check it again. Now that Lin Jing has reached the divinity transformation stage, he is in the right position to cultivate it. Therefore, he thought of taking this opportunity to look at the latter half of the technique. If possible, he might as well start preparing to cultivate the latter part of Dao transformation divinity technique right away. After taking out the Dao transformation divinity technique, Lin Jing activated his divine sense and probed into it. He was already extremely familiar with the preliminary content. Without hesitation, he rapidly skimmed through it to examine the latter part of the technique. Dao transformation divinity, as its name suggests, is about condensing the soul spirit to enhance one's divine sense power and then separating a part of one's soul spirit. Somewhat like cultivating a clone, one must first condense their soul spirit and, once it becomes powerful, separate a part of it. Moreover, the separated part of the soul spirit is not completely detached and normally functions as one entity. Only at critical moments, such as during battle, can one activate the Dao transformation divinity technique, separate their soul spirit, and with 2 soul spirits control oneself and a puppet to attack the enemy, creating a situation of attacking with superior numbers to quickly secure a victory. This cultivation technique was created by a brilliantly gifted puppet master. Ordinary puppet masters need to split a part of their divine sense to control puppets. Even though such a method can be used against an enemy, it's very susceptible to disturbances. If the puppet master is attacked, then the divine sense controlling the puppet will also be affected, thereby limiting the puppet's performance. Therefore, that puppet master put great effort into researching and creating this Dao transformation divinity technique. This remarkably ingenious puppet master came up with a method to separate his soul spirit in another way, allowing his consciousness to split into 2 without affecting each other. This is akin to having another clone. Normally, if one encounters a puppet master, one could directly besiege the puppet master to exert pressure. Then the actions of the controlled puppet would inevitably be heavily affected. But after cultivating the Dao transformation divinity technique, puppet masters and their puppets become 2 separate entities. Even if the puppet master is surrounded, it will not affect the actions of the puppet and might even catch the enemy off guard. Although the Dao transformation divinity technique is extraordinary, its cultivation is also extremely challenging. Firstly, to master the Dao transformation divinity technique, one soul spirit must be stronger than others, and the stronger the soul spirit, the easier it is to succeed in cultivating divinity. Otherwise, if the soul spirit's strength is insufficient, not only is failure likely, but there's also a risk of injuring oneself during the soul-splitting process. In severe cases, it might even lead to direct demise. Secondly, during the initial soul-splitting, one requires a divine sense that is stronger than one's own soul spirit as support. The strength of this divine sense must be at least close to twice that of the soul spirit's strength. Fulfilling this condition also presents some difficulty. A cultivator's divine sense is generally comparable to the strength of their soul spirit. The stronger the soul spirit, the stronger the divine sense naturally becomes. Wanting the divine sense to surpass the soul spirit requires external assistance. It could be through the use of certain elixir medicines or spirit grass to stimulate, or some special magical treasures, or even certain cultivation techniques that can enhance one's divine sense in a short time. There are even some special places that can strengthen the divine sense. Seeing this second condition, Lin Jing felt somewhat relieved. The alchemy room in the system space just happened to be able to enhance the divine sense, so there was no need to worry further. Inside the alchemy room, one's divine sense could be increased by 60%, and if upgraded once more, it could be enhanced by 70%. With such an enhancement, even if there are deficiencies, by refining some elixir medicines that can temporarily boost the divine sense, this problem can be easily resolved. Having solved the issue of divine sense, there is now only one problem left. That is the elixir medicine to strengthen the soul spirit. The soul spirit is fundamental to a cultivator, and elixir medicines that enhance it are exceedingly rare. As far as Lin Jing knows, among 5th-grade elixir medicines, the revival elixir can repair a damaged soul spirit, but cannot strengthen it. And there's another 5th-grade elixir medicine, gathering spirit elixir, which can enhance the divine sense for a short period. As for elixir medicines that can strengthen the soul spirit, Lin Jing has never heard of any. Afterward, Lin Jing finished checking the entire Jade slip. At the end of the Jade slip, he saw such a message. When cultivating to split the soul, nascent soul peak is optimal. Otherwise, if the soul spirit's strength is insufficient, failure is highly likely. In addition, Jade soul algae often grows in extremely harsh sea regions and can enhance the soul spirit when consumed and refined directly. Reading until the end, Lin Jing was quite surprised. He did not expect that there would be a method to enhance the soul spirit at the end. Jade soul algae. It seems that later, when he returns to the demonic monster sea, he will have to search carefully. After checking, Lin Jing placed the Dao transformation divinity technique into the space ring. This cultivation technique is also currently beyond his ability to practice. Since he could not practice it, Lin Jing could only put it aside for the moment. Next, Lin Jing took out the Great Dream ancient mirror from the space ring, ready to continue with its refinement. During the tribulation, Lin Jing's Ling Yin flawless sword was already shattered. Now, he has no usable magical treasures on him. It was just right to try refining the Great Dream ancient mirror now that he had advanced to divinity transformation. And for the upcoming period, Lin Jing had already made plans to refine the Great Dream ancient mirror while understanding his own divine arts. A few days later, Jie prepared to leave the Nanming domain and once again came to Lin Jing's courtyard to bid him farewell. As they prepared to part, the two exchanged courteous words. Jie couldn't help but express her feelings. Honestly, I'm still somewhat short of the Elixir Alliance's standards. Without your help, the Elixir Alliance wouldn't have even considered me. At this point, Jie looked toward Lin Jing and continued. I believe that with your alchemy level, if you were in the Elixir Alliance, you would definitely amaze those old-timers. And I believe that with your skills, plus the resources of the Elixir Alliance, you would quickly surpass me, even directly reaching the 7th grade, or even 8th grade alchemist. Lin Jing just smiled and said, Ji Dao friend, don't sell yourself short. I believe that when you're at the Elixir Alliance with guidance from the Alchemy Dao predecessors, your alchemy will definitely become increasingly formidable. Who knows, when we meet again, you might have far surpassed me. Hearing this, Jixia gave Lin Jing a sidelong glance and pouted, saying, Are you not the heir of an ancient alchemy family? Is your confidence really that lacking? Well, it's not easy to say, Lin Jing said sheepishly. Now, when Lin Jing practiced alchemy, the proficiency he could gain was becoming less and less. Even when making low-tier elixirs, he didn't get any proficiency at all. And the proficiency needed to level up had become an astronomical figure. Unless he took refuge in one of the top alchemy sects and continuously crafted 5th grade, or even 6th grade elixirs to acquire proficiency. Otherwise, just relying on his current method of cultivating spirit fields or using spirit stones to sporadically purchase spirit plants for refinement. He wouldn't be able to refine more than a few elixir furnaces in a year. So how could he continue to level up? It's possible that by the time they met again, Jixia would have already become a 7th grade alchemist, while he would still be hovering at the 6th grade. To advance to a 7th grade alchemist, it seemed he would need to think of more ways. Jixia didn't ask further, but by her expression, it seemed she didn't believe Lin Jing at all and probably thought he was being modest. And Lin Jing didn't explain. Afterward, the two spoke for some time. Later, they bid farewell to each other, and Jixia left. Jixia needed to return to the Western Demon region first, and then from there, travel with the people from the Elixir Alliance to the Eastern Spirit Realm. After Jixia left, Lin Jing stood in the courtyard for a long time. Until the sunset began to slope westward, he seemed to come back to his senses, murmuring softly, It seems I should also be heading back. In the following days, Lin Jing sought out Wei Zhongqing for a brief gathering. After an extensive chat with him, Lin Jing bid farewell. After leaving Wei Zhongqing, Lin Jing went to Linxian City, met with Mingwu, and learned from her that the Ning family had already parted ways with the Nanming immortal sect. Ever since Grandpa Shi San spoke those words in the demon race secret realm, the Qingyuan sword sect and Yiyun Pavilion had thoroughly investigated the Nanming immortal sect. If it had been any other time, given that the Nanming immortal sect was one of the 3 major sects, no one would dare to cause trouble at Nanming immortal sect, even if the ancestor of Nanming immortal sect was not present. But this time, the trouble originated from the ancestor of the Nanming immortal sect. And it was Grandpa Shi San who personally revealed that the ancestor of Nanming immortal sect was practicing demonic techniques. So naturally, the ancestors of Qingyuan sword sect and Yiyun Pavilion did not dare to neglect this. They immediately initiated an investigation. After the investigation, indeed, significant discoveries were made. The Grand Elder of the Nanming immortal sect, along with several other powerful elders, were found to be practicing demonic techniques. Even some of the core disciples of Nanming immortal sect were also practicing demonic techniques. This situation shocked both Qingyuan sword sect and Yiyun Pavilion, who were also among the 3 major sects. The ancestors of both Qingyuan sword sect and Yiyun Pavilion personally took action, executing all those who practiced demonic techniques. Not a single one of those demon cultivators, including the Grand Elder of Nanming immortal sect, escaped. With the loss of these individuals, the Nanming immortal sect no longer had the capital to be counted as one of the 3 major sections. Moreover, when this incident came to light, many disciples of Nanming immortal sect voluntarily left the sect. After this ordeal, the entire Nanming immortal sect had completely declined. All the families and smaller sects that were affiliated with it also left following this event. The Ning family also departed from the Nanming immortal sect during this time. Upon leaving the Nanming immortal sect, the Ning family not only didn't suffer any losses, but there were even signs of growth. Upon learning of this, Lin Jing merely smiled and offered his congratulations. Afterward, Lin Jing bid farewell to Mingwu and then left Lincian City. After leaving, Lin Jing set off for Seawatch City. On the way, Lin Jing took a detour to Tianxin City to see Steward Cheng, then returned to Mo City, looking at Yu Yan from a distance. And even Yuling, he even saw Yuling's son. Although Yuling didn't have a spiritual root, her son possessed a 3-attribute spiritual root. With a 3-attribute spiritual root in Mo City, he could be described as having an exceptionally good aptitude. Another 10 years had passed since the last time, and Yuling had already become a woman in appearance. Though she hadn't aged, her youth was no longer. This time, as Grandpa Sher San went to the outer spatial void to find a cure for Sher San, it was unknown how long it would take. It was likely to be a long time. It is very possible that by the time Sher San woke up again, Yuling would have passed away. But this is the separation between the mortal world and immortality. It cannot be changed. Mo City was Lin Jing's last stop in the Nanming domain. After leaving Mo City, Lin Jing didn't linger any longer. Instead, he flew directly towards Seawatch City. When Lin Jing came to the Nanming domain, the journey was not very smooth, but when he left, there were no obstacles at all, and the departure was unusually smooth. Lin Jing arrived in Seawatch City just as several cultivators needed to use the teleportation array, and he joined them conveniently. Without any delay, they directly boarded the teleportation array and left the Nanming domain. In Beihai City's teleportation array, a beam of light shot up to the sky, enveloping the entire array platform in the blinding light produced by the teleportation. After the teleportation light faded, several people appeared in the middle of the array. Some of them were gathered together, obviously acquainted with each other, and not far from them was another person standing alone. The group of cultivators seemed to be intentionally keeping a certain distance from the solitary cultivator, and although they were together, they seemed particularly restrained. The solitary cultivator was none other than Lin Jing. Traveling with Lin Jing were several golden core cultivators, who maintained a certain distance from Lin Jing due to the vast difference in their cultivation levels. They did not dare to come too close, fearing they might anger Lin Jing. This was actually quite normal in the cultivation world. Although Lin Jing had already advanced to the divinity transformation stage, he did not reveal his true cultivation level, but continued to conceal it at the nascent soul stage. The reason for this was his fear of encountering acquaintances. Even revealing his nascent soul cultivation level was enough to gain considerable attention. If he were to expose his divinity transformation stage cultivation level, it would be even more shocking and astounding. It might be a bit of a hassle, but this approach was indeed effective for Lin Jing. Just as he stepped out of the array, Lin Jing heard a voice filled with pleasant surprise. "Uncle Lin." Yin Xing looked quickly. "It's Uncle Lin." As soon as these words were uttered, another voice filled with excitement followed. "Really, it is Uncle Lin." Hearing the voices, Lin Jing quickly turned his head to see two stunningly beautiful women waving at him from the plaza where the teleportation array was located. These two women were none other than Yin Xing and Yin Yu. Lin Jing was also somewhat surprised to see them. He hadn't expected to run into acquaintances just after teleporting. Lin Jing waved back at them, and then left the teleportation array to walk toward the two sisters. This time, the elder in charge of the array was not the elder Qin from before, but someone Lin Jing did not recognize. Seeing Lin Jing, the man just gave him a glance, and then paid him no further attention. Lin Jing, of course, did not bother him, and instead walked directly toward Yin Xing and Yin Yu. Approaching them, Lin Jing sized up the two sisters with a smile and asked, "What are you two doing here? Where is your father?" It had been more than 20 years since he last saw them. For mortals, 20 years might make up a third of their lifetime, and if they didn't see each other during that time, they would likely return with greatly changed appearances and could hardly recognize each other. However, for cultivators, 20 years brought little change. For instance, although Yin Xing and Yin Yu hadn't seen Lin Jing for 20 years, they didn't appear much different, especially since both sisters had long taken the eternal youth elixir, ensuring their beauty remained unchanged, looking no different from before. What changed visibly was probably their demeanor. Lin Jing could clearly sense that they had matured compared to the last time he saw them. Of course, their cultivation levels had changed too. Lin Jing had just glanced at them and immediately noticed that the sisters had both reached the early stages of the golden core, nearing the middle stage. Clearly, after taking the cleansing spirit elixir last time, the sisters had quickly advanced to the golden core stage after their spirit root aptitudes were enhanced. Lin Jing had watched these two sisters grow up, so he felt an inexplicable sense of affection when facing them. Seeing them successfully form their golden cores, Lin Jing was very gratified. The sisters, on their part, were also very happy to face Lin Jing. Yinyu then spoke. Father and our great-grandfather also came to Bihai City, but they had some matters to attend to and temporarily went back to Spirit Rock Island. We had nothing to do, so we came out for a walk. After hearing this, Lin Jing nodded. Yin Xing then continued. We've been out for a while now, so I guess our great-grandfather and father should be back soon. Uncle Lin, why don't you join us in returning home? Father will surely be very pleased to know you're here. Yinyu nodded and added, and great-grandfather too. He's also been missing Uncle Lin for a long time. He's been saying he wants to meet you. Last time when you came to Spirit Rock Island, it was a pity that great-grandfather wasn't there, and you didn't get to meet. The Yin family's great-grandfather was the divine transformation cultivator from the Yin family. He had been in the Nanming domain the last time Lin Jing visited, so they hadn't met. Since it was the Yin family's great-grandfather, it would indeed be right to meet him. Lin Jing then nodded and replied, All right, then I'll accompany you both back. After hearing this, the sisters were very pleased and eagerly led the way. Lin Jing then followed Yin Xing and Yinyu away from the plaza where the teleportation array was located. After leaving the plaza, Lin Jing accompanied the two sisters to a spacious street in the center of Bihai City, where the Yin family had set up a shop. This shop was not small. It was located right in the center of Bihai City, which reflected the considerable strength of the Yin family. The purpose of this shop was mainly to serve the Yin family, helping them to buy and sell various spirit plants. Lin Jing followed the two sisters into the merchant shop and was immediately greeted by members of the Yin family. Yinyu briefly introduced Lin Jing and then led him through the shop towards the back. Behind the shop was a fairly large courtyard. This courtyard was where the Yin family members rested while in Bihai City. When the three of them arrived, the old ancestor of the Yin family and Yin Ming had not yet returned. It wasn't until an hour later that Yin Ming came back to this place. At that time, Lin Jing was chatting with the two sisters when he heard Yin Ming's hearty laughter. Huh, Brother Lin, it has indeed been a long time since we last met, Yin Ming said. Upon hearing this voice, Lin Jing immediately turned his head and saw Yin Ming approaching. As soon as I got back to the shop, I was told that Brother Lin had arrived. It's been a long time since you've appeared, Brother Lin, and your visit today is truly a pleasant surprise, Yin Ming said with a smile. Lin Jing stood up and went to meet Yin Ming. Brother Yin, I've just returned from the Nanming domain when I ran into Yin Xing and Yinyu. I thought it had been a long time since I'd seen you, so I came over to check in, Lin Jing said. At that time, Yin Ming came over to Lin Jing, sized him up, and then said, Indeed, Brother Lin, you went to the Nanming domain and ended up staying there for over 20 years. That's quite a long time, Yin Ming remarked. Lin Jing nodded. I hadn't planned to stay so long, but some matters arose that caused the delay, he replied. Upon hearing this, Yin Ming quickly asked, Did you encounter any trouble? If there's trouble, Brother Lin, feel free to speak up. Our Yin family will surely provide full support, Yin Ming offered eagerly. Lin Jing then chuckled and waved his hand. Brother Yin, you worry too much. It was just some issues with cultivation, and there wasn't any trouble, he assured. Yin Ming, hearing this, breathed a sigh of relief. That's good to hear. After speaking, Yin Ming quickly changed the subject. Brother Lin, your return is timely indeed, Yin Ming continued. Lin Jing, confused by the remark, looked questioningly at Yin Ming. Yin Ming spoke again. Today there's a high-end trading conference, and those participating in this conference are all at least to the nascent soul stage in cultivation. Such a high-end trading conference isn't easy to come by, and since you've returned today, we can go together and take a look, he suggested. A trading conference? As soon as Lin Jing heard about the trading conference, his brow furrowed instantaneously. The mention of a trading conference immediately brought to mind shopkeeper Shun. He had used one to deceive many cultivators into entering the devouring spirit blood realm. And the sinister mastermind behind it all was Mingwu. In the end, even shopkeeper Shun himself was deceived by the great cultivator Ling and was transported into the devouring spirit blood realm, where he ultimately perished. Now that another trading conference was being mentioned, Lin Jing couldn't help but suspect whether this could be another of Li Mingwu's schemes. At this moment, Yan Ming was eagerly looking forward to Lin Jing's response. When he mentioned the trading conference, he saw that Lin Jing's reaction wasn't one of excitement, but rather one of concern. This left Yan Ming quite puzzled, so he asked, "Brother Lin, is there a problem?" Lin Jing looked at Yan Ming and then said, "Whenever I hear about a trading conference, I remember a major event that happened in the Thousand Islands domain. The former island master of Yutian Island, Li Mingwu, used a trading conference to deceive cultivators, luring them into a secret space with the intent of using the cultivators for alchemy to aid his own breakthrough. Brother Yin, you must have heard of that incident, right?" Lin Jing inquired. Yan Ming nodded in response. "Of course. That incident was widely discussed. I've naturally heard about it," he acknowledged. "Is that what you're worried about?" Yan Ming asked, and without waiting for Lin Jing to answer, he reassured him with a smile. "Rest assured, Brother Lin, there's absolutely no problem with this trading conference. This is a high-end trading conference, and all the participants are renowned figures from the Southern Outer Sea, including several divine transformation cultivators," Yan Ming explained. "For instance, the god of Dongji Island from the Eastern Sea Domain and Li Chun from the Jingyuan Sea Domain are both figures close to the peak of divinity transformation. Aside from them, the Island Master of True Dragon Island, one of the 3 major islands in your Thousand Islands domain, is also attending this trading conference. And my family's old ancestor didn't come with me because he went ahead to the conference earlier. Moreover, this trading conference is being held inside the welcoming Immortals Tower in Bihai City, and Li Mingwu wouldn't dare to touch any of these people, even if he were bold enough. So don't worry, Brother Lin. This trading conference is absolutely safe," Yan Ming assured. After hearing this, Lin Jing was relieved. Even with all his power, Li Mingwu wouldn't dare to act against the participants of this trading conference, especially not in Bihai City. Afterward, Yan Ming continued. "Also, last time you helped Xing'er and Yuer to refine the cleansing spirit elixir, my family's ancestor was very grateful and has always said that he wanted to meet you. This is a good opportunity." Upon hearing this, Lin Jing nodded. "Indeed, I should indeed pay a visit to Elder Yan. Since that's the case, let's go to this trading event and see." "That is how it should be," Yan Ming nodded in agreement. "This trading event is quite high-end. I expect that many treasures that are rarely seen will appear. Perhaps we will even find the treasures we are looking for." Lin Jing nodded. "Good. Then let's go take a look together." After finishing, Yan Ming then gave some instructions to Yin Xing and Yin Yu. After the instructions, he led Lin Jing away from the place. Yingxianlu is the largest tavern in Bihai City and also the venue for this trading event. After leaving the Yin family shop, Lin Jing and Yin Ming went straight to Yingxianlu. Yin Ming, as the current head of the Yin family, was naturally very familiar with the shopkeeper of Yingxianlu. No sooner had the two arrived than the shopkeeper of Yingxianlu came out to greet them. Then, the shopkeeper personally led the two of them upstairs. The venue for the trading event was on the 8th floor of Yingxianlu, which was very spacious. Because of the trading event, the entire 8th floor had been closed off. At the entrance of the stairs, 2 golden core cultivators were arranged to stand guard. The shopkeeper of Yingxianlu only escorted the two to the entrance before leaving. Now was the turn of the 2 golden core cultivators standing at the entrance. These 2 golden core cultivators obviously recognized Yan Ming as well. As soon as the two arrived, the golden core cultivators hurriedly greeted them and then guided them upstairs. As soon as Lin Jing entered the trading hall, they immediately caught the attention of others. Some turned their heads to look while divine sense directly swept over them. Others made no movement, as if they were indifferent to anything. But when they saw Yin Ming, they all turned their heads away, and those who extended their divine sense simply swept over briefly. After all, the Yin family had a renowned name in the southern outer sea. Moreover, the elder of the Yin family was a great cultivator at the peak of divinity transformation. No one dared to offend him lightly. As for Lin Jing, who was beside Yin Ming, although they did not recognize him, Lin Jing himself had the cultivation of the nascent soul stage and met the requirements to attend this trading event. Furthermore, being together with Yin Ming clearly indicated a good relationship with Yin Ming, suggesting he was invited by Yin Ming. The most they did was show curiosity and secretly note down Lin Jing's identity. As fellow nascent soul cultivators, they might deal with each other in the future. While they were observing him, Lin Jing was also observing them. At the moment, there were about a dozen people on the entire 8th floor. Not one of them was in divine transformation. All of them had the cultivation of the nascent soul stage. The divine transformation cultivators, including the ancestor of the Yin family, were not there at that time. After arriving upstairs, Yin Ming also took a look around and then said to Lin Jing, "The ancestor is not here." Not only the ancestor, but the other divinity transformation cultivators are also not present. It seems they should be together, Yin Ming stated. Lin Jing nodded. After that, the two of them, like everyone else, found a place to sit down and waited for the trading event to start. Time passed by little. From an originally sparse crowd, the 8th floor gradually filled up with more people arriving. The number of attendees at the trading event had increased to more than 20. At this moment, Lin Jing finally saw two familiar faces. One of them was the true lord of Yellen Island from Thousand Islands domain, who also participated in this trading event. The other was the true Lord Qi Yin. Upon arrival, true Lord Qi Yin immediately saw Lin Jing and Yin Ming. He walked straight toward the two of them. Just as true Lord Qi Yin arrived, before he could speak, Yin Ming took the initiative to say, "Previously when we searched for you, you said you wouldn't come. Why the change of heart?" True Lord Qi Yin seemed a bit embarrassed and spoke awkwardly. "The magical treasure I was refining failed unintentionally, and I am here to see if I can find some useful materials." After speaking, True Lord Qi Yin looked towards Lin Jing and then said with a smile, "Lin Dao Yu, long time no see." Lin Jing also responded with a smile. "Qi and Dao Yu, long time no see. How was the Ling Yin flawless sword I forged for you holding up?" Qi Yin looked at Lin Jing and asked. After speaking, Qi Yin wore a self-satisfied expression. "That Ling Yin flawless sword can be considered the pinnacle of my current forging skills, a supreme Grey Dao artifact. Throughout the entire southern outer seas, I fear no one else but myself could craft it." Seeing Qi Yin's face exude pride and self-satisfaction, Lin Jing was momentarily at a loss for words, unsure of how to respond. It wasn't exactly feasible for him to tell Qi Yin that the Ling Yin flawless sword had already been destroyed by the heavenly tribulation. It wasn't until Qi Yin finished speaking and looked towards Lin Jing that Lin Jing quickly spoke up. It's very useful, quite effective indeed. Since the Ling Yin flawless sword was destroyed by the tribulation lightning, Lin Jing dared not reveal the truth. Seeing Qi Yin as he was, if he were to find out that the Ling Yin flawless sword had shattered, he would likely be dumbfounded and continuously inquire about the reasons. After all, a supreme Grey Dao artifact had suddenly shattered, which was hard to justify, and Lin Jing did not want to reveal too much, so he could only conceal the truth for the time being. However, fortunately, Qi Yin did not continue to inquire, which really relieved Lin Jing. Afterward, the three of them chatted idly. After a long while, just as the trade fair was about to start, another person entered, also a nascent soul cultivator. This person looked around after arriving. When his gaze landed on Lin Jing, he paused momentarily, then quickly swept to other areas. This odd behavior naturally caught Lin Jing's attention. Lin Jing turned around for a look, but discovered that he did not know this person. Lin Jing was puzzled for a moment, then turned his attention back. Just when Lin Jing turned his head, he saw Lord Yulin also slightly frowning and turning a look at that cultivator. From that new nascent soul cultivator's gaze, Lin Jing and Lord Yulin were directly in line. Perhaps he has seen Lord Yulin before, which is why he looked this way. Lin Jing thought to himself, then felt reassured. Lord Yulin also saw Lin Jing and nodded at him in greeting. Lin Jing also nodded lightly, acknowledging the greeting. Both tactfully remained silent. The unfamiliar nascent soul cultivator, after scanning the area, did not approach Lord Yulin, but instead walked towards an inconspicuous corner. Seeing this, Lin Jing no longer paid attention, but turned his head and continued talking with Yan Ming and Qi Yan. After a while, several divine transformation cultivators participating in this trade fair descended from the 9th floor. The person leading was an old man in white clothes. This elder appeared calm, his aura hidden, and his demeanor was tranquil and unassuming, much like a wise elder who had seen through the vicissitudes of life. Behind the elder were 4 others. Among these 4, Lin Jing had only met the island master of True Dragon Island. He did not recognize the others. After the elder descended from the upstairs, he directly walked towards Lin Jing. At this moment, Yan Ming spoke up, reminding Lin Jing, "This is the Ancestor." As the Yin family ancestor approached, Yan Ming quickly bowed his hands. "Ancestor." Lin Jing and Qi Yan also bowed their hands in unison. "Elder Yan, Elder Yan." The Yin family ancestor nodded, then looked at Lin Jing and with a smile said, "I presume you must be Lin Jing." Lin Jing nodded and bowed. "Yes, Elder." The Yin family ancestor spoke in a tone as serene as an elder of a mortal family would continue. "You in Xing often mention you, so much so that my ears are almost calloused. Now it appears you truly are extraordinary. So young yet with such cultivation, and also a 5th-grade alchemist, which is even more remarkable." "Elder flatters me," Lin Jing said modestly. The Yin family ancestor continued, "Thank you for the cleansing spirit elixir before. If you ever encounter any trouble, feel free to come to Spirit Rock Island. I still have some influence in the southern outer sea." What the Yin family ancestor meant by saying this was to offer his protection. The conversation, especially the last statement, was deliberately loud, obviously for others to hear. With this move by the Yin family ancestor, others glanced sideways, and the other 4 divine transformation cultivators also looked over. Among them was an older man, pockmarked, hunchbacked, and with bent posture, who chuckled and then spoke. "Haha, I say, Elder Yin, aren't you trying to entice this talented alchemist to join the Yin family and become an exclusive pill master for your family?" The old man's voice was hoarse, especially when he laughed. It was even more chilling. After hearing this, the Yin family ancestor turned back to the old man and said, "I say, old toad, can you not project your own ways onto others? My Yin family has always been clear about gratitude and grievances. Have we ever mistreated anyone who has helped our family? If I indeed need his help for alchemy, I will state it clearly, not resorting to any schemes. And if he is unwilling, I certainly will not force him. Besides, this young man has done a great favor for my Yin family. We naturally will protect him from being bullied by others. Even if it's you, if you have any ideas against him, I will not hesitate to step in and give you a beating." Hearing this, many people around looked at Lin Jing with immense envy. With the words of a Yin family ancestor, in the future in the southern outer sea, there would probably be very few who dared to offend Lin Jing. After all, since the Yin family ancestor had spoken, if anyone dared to target Lin Jing, it would be like slapping the Yin family ancestor in the face. These people weren't fools. Naturally, they wouldn't casually offend a divine, transformation peak great cultivator. The hunchbacked old man twitched the corners of his mouth upon hearing this, and then repeatedly waved his hands. "Forget it, I wouldn't dare. I'm afraid you'd beat me up." Lin Jing could tell that the hunchbacked old man must have had a good relationship with the Yin family ancestor. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made such a joke. After the jokes, The true Dragon Island master spoke up. Well, now that everyone is here, can we start the trading assembly? The rest nodded. Fine, let's start now. Then, several people took their seats, with the Yin family ancestor even sitting directly beside Yin Ming. After sitting down, the Yin family ancestor continued. That old toad is from the northern Divine Toad Island, the Divine Toad himself. He and I have a fairly good relationship. If you run into trouble in the northern part of the outer seas, you can ask him for help. On account of my face, he won't ignore you. The weight of this statement was certainly not light, and it left Lin Jing feeling unexpectedly honored. Senior, how can I accept this? If because of Yin Xing and Yin Yu, the Yin family ancestor supported Lin Jing on the spot, that could be seen as the Yin family's gratitude towards Lin Jing. But now, even bringing in his own trusted friend, it went beyond simple gratitude. The Yin family ancestor seemed to sense Lin Jing's concern and spoke up. I do this because there is actually something I need your help with. Hearing this, Lin Jing finally breathed a sigh of relief. After all, one should not accept rewards without merit, and Lin Jing had only refined 2 batches of elixir furnace medicine, yet the Yin family ancestor treated him to such an extent. It was clear that the Yin family ancestor was being too good to him, a kindness that felt somewhat unreal to Lin Jing. After all, he seemed to only possess nascent soul cultivation, while the other party was a whole major realm higher than him. Now that he was asked for help, everything seemed reasonable. Lin Jing hurriedly responded. Senior Yin, please speak. The Yin family ancestor then said. The Yin family has cultivated spiritual plants for many years, and every so often, we accumulate a good number of high-grade spiritual plants. Among these plants, some special spirit plants cannot be stored for long. They must be refined into elixir medicine soon after harvesting, otherwise, much of their medicinal potency will be lost. Even if refined into elixir medicine, the quality will be diminished greatly. Just those plants I mentioned, they could be refined into more than 20 batches of 5th-rank elixir medicine. In the past, when our sect had a backlog of such imperishable spiritual plants, we found other alchemists to refine them into elixir medicine. But since last time, Mingwu said your alchemy is extraordinary. If refined by you, there should be the possibility of producing superior or even supreme-grade elixir medicine. That way, we wouldn't waste those spirit plants. So, I was thinking of asking for your help to refine these elixir medicine. What do you think about this? Having finished, the Yin family ancestor added another sentence. Of course, if you are unwilling, we will not force you, and we will find someone else. Upon hearing this, Lin Jing was momentarily stunned. Alchemy might be troublesome for others, but for him, it was a good opportunity. Not to mention, Lin Jing was currently worrying about where to find high-grade spiritual plants. Now that he had become a 6th-grade pill master, he could only increase his alchemy proficiency by refining 5th-rank or higher elixir medicine. Without high-grade spiritual plants, his alchemy proficiency would come to a complete halt, and to ascend to be a 7th-grade alchemist, who knew how long that would take. Now, with the spirit plants from the Yin family, Lin Jing could continue to increase his alchemy proficiency. Furthermore, if he refined elixir medicine within the system space with the bonus of the alchemy room, there was a very possible chance of producing pure elixir. 5th-rank pure elixirs were exceedingly rare. Just one could sell for an astronomical price. If Lin Jing truly refined pure elixir medicine, he would definitely keep them for himself. Unfortunately, whether it was the system space or his status as a Lin family successor, Lin Jing could not expose either. In order not to arouse suspicion, even if he produced pure elixir medicine while helping the Yin family, he could not reveal them. As for the other elixir medicine, he could leave them all to the Yin family. His own involvement in refining could also lead to a not-so-small chance of producing supreme-grade elixir medicine. With those supreme-grade elixir medicine, he would certainly delight the Yin family. It's just alchemy, a small matter. Elder, please rest assured, leave the matter of alchemy to me, Lin Jing spoke. The Yin family's ancestor nodded, and then looked toward the few divine transformation cultivators ahead and said, Since you're helping us refine elixir medicines, our Yin family will certainly not treat you poorly. Take a look at the items those old fellows will bring out later. If there's anything you fancy, just speak up, and I'll help you obtain it." Elder Lin Jing had just begun to speak when he was interrupted by Yin Ming. "Brother Lin, listen to me. Don't refuse the elder's kindness. If you don't accept, we'll feel awkward asking you for alchemy again." Upon hearing this, Lin Jing was initially startled. Then he realized and bowed to the Yin family's ancestor, saying, "All right, in that case, I thank Elder Yin for his generosity." Upon hearing this, the Yin family's elder stroked his beard and smiled, saying, "You're too polite." While they were talking, the exchange meeting had already started. The first to speak was none other than that divine toad cultivator. One could see the divine toad cultivator stand up and extend his hand towards everyone present. In his hands, two spherical objects floated in midair. They were purple, and within them seemed to flow something akin to clouds or mist. The divine toad cultivator then said, "In my hands are two explosive poison beads, personally forged by me as one-time forbidden treasures. These explosive poison beads are extremely simple to use, requiring no refinement. Just activate and throw them, and that's it. Moreover, their power is astonishing. Once a poison bead explodes, its poisonous mist can spread for hundreds of miles in a short period. And this poisonous mist, even divine transformation cultivators wouldn't dare to come into contact with it lightly. At the least, it would cause their cultivation to fall, or at worst, turn them directly into ash." Upon saying this, the divine toad cultivator giggled and looked towards the other divine transformation cultivators. "So, do any of you fancy these explosive poison beads? I'm not asking much, just looking to trade for a supreme-grade defensive Tao artifact." Upon hearing this, everyone turned their heads away. Despite the impressive description by the divine toad cultivator, the beads weren't as useful in practice. The main issue was that the explosive poison beads were indiscriminate in their attack. Once thrown, even the user couldn't go near them. Moreover, the spread of the poison mist was slow, and divine transformation cultivators could easily dodge it. No one would foolishly stand in the area of the mist unless they faced some special situation that rendered them immobile. Though the explosive poison beads had many shortcomings, they could be quite effective for wiping out a sect, particularly in the case of a sect or clan's base. If one were to be thrown into it, the result would certainly be a horrific disaster. The divine toad cultivator's practice spells were related to poison, and his divine toad island was known for breeding many poisonous creatures. He himself had a particular fondness for researching such things. So, nobody was interested in the items presented by the divine toad cultivator. Even the Yin family's ancestor spoke at this point. "Old frog, you're being a bit greedy. Who among us has a supreme-grade defensive Tao artifact?" The divine toad cultivator wasn't offended and chuckled in response. Even if there's no supreme-grade defensive Tao artifact, a superior defensive Tao artifact would do. If not, I can add one more bead, making it 3 explosive poison beads. The Yin family's ancestor shook his head helplessly. "Enough. With your explosive poison beads, it's unlikely anyone will want them. Better to trade them for something else, or simply let the next person have a turn." Realizing the situation, the divine toad cultivator no longer insisted and lowered his demands. With one of the beads, he traded for some rare poisonous herbs needed for his poison art research. Then he sat down contentedly. After the divine toad cultivator sat down, the real trading at the exchange meeting began. One cultivator after another displayed their items for trade, as well as what treasures they desired in exchange. Lin Jing, however, remained still. He didn't currently have anything to barter with, and he didn't have anything specific he wanted either. It was then that the Yin family's ancestor had asked Lin Jing if there was anything he wanted, to which Lin Jing just shook his head. Time passed in this way until finally it was the turn of that cultivator seemingly acquainted with Lord Yulin. The cultivator rose to his feet, faced Lin Jing's direction, and then spoke to the Yin family's elder. "Elder Yin, I have heard that the elder possesses a piece of Jade soul algae. May I inquire if the elder is willing to trade it?" Hearing this, Lin Jing immediately turned his head, incredulously looking at the Yin family ancestor, never expecting that the Yin family ancestor would actually possess Jade soul algae. However, the Yin family ancestor looked towards the unfamiliar nascent soul cultivator and spoke directly. "Indeed, I have a piece of Jade soul algae, but I do not intend to trade it." The unfamiliar cultivator, upon hearing this, did not give up, but instead spoke again with respect. "The Jade soul algae can enhance the soul spirit and is one of the rare spiritual objects that can reinforce divine sense. It is extremely precious to divine transformation cultivators. I understand why Senior Yin is unwilling to trade." But halfway through his words, the tone of the unfamiliar cultivator changed, and he continued, "However, I have a treasure here that is also very useful to divine transformation cultivators. Its effect is not less than that of the Jade soul algae. Maybe Senior Yin would like it very much." "What is it?" the Yin family ancestor asked, his brows furrowing as he looked at the man. Jade soul algae could enhance the soul spirit, and there weren't many things that could replace it. Even if there were other spiritual objects that could enhance the soul spirit, they would be even rarer than Jade soul algae, and one might not find them even in a lifetime. The Jade soul algae was better in comparison, although it was also rare. As long as one sought it out and was willing to put in some effort, they could eventually find a few pieces. Therefore, the Yin family ancestor did not wish to trade it away. The unfamiliar cultivator did not respond, but directly took out an extremely delicate jade box from his space ring. This jade box was entirely blood red, and it was impossible to see what was inside. There were also seals on it, preventing divine sense from probing inside. After taking out the jade box, the unfamiliar cultivator formed hand seals and then stamped several imprints onto the jade box. The jade box immediately underwent some changes, and an indescribable aura emerged from within. Afterward, the unfamiliar cultivator addressed the Yin family ancestor. "Senior Yin, inside this jade box is an object that I wish to trade for the Jade soul algae. I can show the contents to Senior Yin, but I hope Senior Yin will keep it confidential and not reveal what it is. If Senior Yin, after seeing it, chooses not to trade, then I will not insist." The contents of this jade box were so mysterious, not to mention others. Even Lin Jing was extremely curious and wanted to know what exactly was inside. And the other cultivators were clearly just as curious as Lin Jing. Their eyes were all drawn to the jade box. The Yin family ancestor, looking at the unfamiliar cultivator with an intense gaze, said, "I do not think we have met before, and yet you seem to trust me a great deal. Aren't you afraid that I'd simply take your possession?" The unfamiliar cultivator then spoke with respect. "I have heard some of the elder stories about Senior Yin, and I hold great admiration for Senior Yan's character." After hearing this, the Yin family ancestor focused his gaze, scrutinizing the unfamiliar cultivator closely. After examining him, the Yin family ancestor spoke directly. "Fine. Since you've put it that way, naturally I would not bully a junior. If the item in your jade box really satisfies me, then I will trade with you. Senior Yin, please." The unfamiliar cultivator gracefully bowed. Then with a sweep of his hand, the jade box floated towards the Yin family ancestor. The Yin family ancestor reached out his hand, and the jade box landed precisely in his grasp. After receiving the jade box, the Yin family ancestor waved his hand, and he was immediately shielded by a light screen, preventing those outside from seeing anything within. Without a doubt, the protection set by the Yin family ancestor also blocked out any probing divine sense. After a quarter of an hour, the light screen faded away. The Yin family ancestor was revealed inside, along with the jade box that appeared unchanged. After looking at the object inside the jade box, he closed it again, restoring it to its original state. It could be said that now, apart from the unfamiliar cultivator and the Yin family ancestor, no one present knew what was actually inside the jade box. At this time, everyone's eyes were on the Yin family ancestor, and the unfamiliar cultivator, likewise filled with anticipation, looked towards the Yin family ancestor. But the Yin family ancestor, holding the jade box and frowning, appeared deep in thought. It was quite some time before he finally lifted his head again and then, with a wave of his hand, sent the jade box flying back to the unfamiliar cultivator. Your item inside the jade box is indeed good. Unfortunately, is not what I am looking for. After receiving the Yin family ancestor's response, the unfamiliar cultivator did not persist. He took back the jade box and respectfully bowed to the Yin family ancestor. Thank you for your time, Senior Yin. After speaking, he returned to his seat, and the Yin family ancestor also did not say more and sat back down as well. This trade was not concluded, but the trading meeting was to continue. Following that, another cultivator presented the treasure they wished to trade. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a treasure I obtained from a ruin in the deep sea. People's attention was immediately drawn to this new trade. No longer did they pay attention to the unfamiliar cultivator. Only a few people would occasionally turn their heads to glance at him again. They were clearly intrigued by the mysterious treasure within the jade box on his person. However, this was a trading meeting of the highest order, where even the cultivators who could attend were of renowned reputation. Naturally, no one would make any inappropriate moves because of the mysterious treasure. Even if someone did have any ideas, at the very least they would wait until they had left Beehive City. But the other party was no fool. Since they dared to offer that item, they must have made thorough preparations beforehand, and as a nascent soul cultivator, they would surely not fear them. The trading meeting was still going on in full swing and quickly approached its climax. Lin Jing had not participated in it from beginning to end. He had not chosen anyone's treasures either. Lin Jing hadn't chosen any other treasures, not because he was in a rush, but Yin Ming beside him was getting somewhat anxious on Lin Jing's behalf. Brother Lin, I thought the magical treasure offered by Dongji Divine Lord just now was quite good. You didn't show any interest? Lin Jing shook his head. Let's wait a bit more. Hearing Lin Jing say this, Yin Ming could only helplessly shake his head as well. Actually, the one thing Lin Jing was truly interested in was the Jade Soul Algae in the hands of the Yin family's ancestor. However, from what had happened just now, it seemed that the Jade Soul Algae was extremely precious to the Yin family's ancestor, and Lin Jing naturally couldn't just take someone's beloved possession. Therefore, Lin Jing didn't have the heart to speak up. Lin Jing's intention was to wait until the trading meeting was over and then inquire with the Yin family's ancestor about the origin of the Jade Soul Algae. Once he knew where it came from, he could search for it himself. Because of the harsh conditions required for the growth of Jade Soul Algae, it only appeared in specific locations. As long as he found that particular place, it would simply be a matter of expending some effort to eventually find it. Just as Lin Jing and Yin Ming finished their conversation, the previously unknown cultivator stood up again. Everyone, I have an item here. It is extremely precious, and I'd like to offer it for exchange. As the unfamiliar cultivator spoke again, it made everyone turn their attention towards him once more. However, no sooner had his words fallen than Divine Toad Elder's face showed displeasure as he bluntly spoke. If it's something like before, something indecent, then do not bring it out again. The unfamiliar cultivator gave a polite bow to Divine Toad Elder and then said, Elder Divine Toad, please rest assured, I will not conceal this item any longer. It is just that this item is a little different and too precious. I cannot determine its authenticity, so I brought it here for the elders present, as well as my fellow cultivators, to help identify its authenticity. If this item is genuine, then I will offer it for trade with everyone. The Divine Toad Elder, showing impatience, directly said, What is it? You're making such a fuss about it. Just bring it out already. Really, you want to trade something whose authenticity you don't even know. The unfamiliar cultivator did not argue or get angry. Instead, he showed considerable respect towards Divine Toad Elder. All right, Elder Divine Toad. As he spoke, the unfamiliar cultivator didn't waste any time and took out a green-colored token from his space ring. On the token were the inscribed characters 5 elements. This token, when the token was revealed, it immediately caused a stir, as it was evident that many recognized the token. Even the island master of True Dragon Island, who had been quiet this whole time, suddenly stood up, looking at the token and involuntarily exclaimed, "5 elements would command." The moment these words came out, it led the few cultivators who had not yet recognized the token to exclaim as well. This is actually the 5 elements would command. The 5 elements ruins might be secret, but the assembled cultivators were among the very top tier of the southern outer sea. They had all heard about the 5 elements ruins, although most did not know the specific location of the ruins. However, they had all heard some legends or accounts passed down about the 5 elements ruins, which naturally included the 5 elements command tokens. Lin Jing, upon seeing the 5 elements would command in the hands of the unfamiliar cultivator, knew it was fake without needing to discern further. The authentic 5 elements would command was securely placed inside his space ring, which meant that the token in the stranger's hands was undoubtedly a counterfeit. Although Lin Jing knew this token was a fake, he couldn't show it, and instead had to act as shocked as the people around him. Lin Jing carefully observed the 5 elements would command in the hands of the unfamiliar cultivator and also silently compared them in his mind. This 5 elements would command was exquisitely crafted and had a rich wood element aura emanating from it. If Lin Jing hadn't known the true 5 elements would command was in his possession, he might have actually been fooled. Obviously, the maker of this 5 elements would command must have seen the real 5 elements command token, or even possessed it at one point. Otherwise, they could not have made it so realistic. This inevitably led Lin Jing to wonder. The unfamiliar cultivator, where did he obtain this token from? Although Lin Jing reacted immediately, the island master of True Dragon Island was unaware of the token's authenticity. Upon seeing the token, the eyes of True Dragon Island's island master shimmered with keen light, and he hurriedly said to the unfamiliar cultivator, "Hand over that token in your possession so I can have a look." The unfamiliar cultivator nodded and then stepped forward, coming directly in front of the island master of True Dragon Island. "Senior, please look." The unfamiliar cultivator spoke, handing over the 5 elements would command he held in his hand. The island master of True Dragon Island took the token and immediately began to examine it. After a while, the island master of True Dragon Island seemed to find nothing unusual and then asked the unfamiliar cultivator, "Where did you obtain this token from?" The unfamiliar cultivator spoke respectfully. To reply to Senior, "This token was found by me on the deep seabed, not far from the Thousand Islands domain. It was so bizarre how I obtained it that I dared not confirm whether this 5 elements would command is genuine or not." While the two were speaking, Divine Toad and the other 3 divine transformation cultivators gathered around, and even the Yin family's ancestor hurried over. Clearly, the Yin family's ancestor was also very interested in this 5 elements command token. The island master of True Dragon Island nodded. Then he observed the token in his hand again. This time, the 5 of them gathered around, and soon they were closely encircling the token, making it impossible for other cultivators to see. The group gathered, observing and discussing for some time. "Dragon fellow Taoist, what do you think? Is this 5 elements would command real or not?" The one asking this was Divine Toad, and his query was directed to the island master of True Dragon Island. The surname of the island master of True Dragon Island was long, but he deliberately concealed his given name, unknown to outsiders. It was said that because the island master of True Dragon Island was most skilled at divination, capable of probing the mysteries of heaven, it was in one divination that he foresaw a sinister omen in his life, which would bring him immeasurable calamities. And the cause seemed to be the influence of his name on his life fate. However, this name was given by his parents and had been with him for countless years, already fused with his life fate, making it useless to change. Therefore, he concealed his name and since then never revealed it. From then on, he called himself Taoist Long, hoping to avoid the foreseen calamity. The island master of True Dragon Island hesitated for a moment as if contemplating, and after a good while, he finally spoke again. "I have seen genuine 5 elements command tokens, and this token is not much different, and even the aura emanating from the token is very similar. However, the ones I have seen before were of other attributes. This 5 elements would command is the first of its kind that I have seen. So, I cannot distinguish its authenticity. Having said that, the island master of True Dragon Island then looked to the others and spoke. I wonder if the rest of you can deduce anything about this token? No sooner had the words of the island master of True Dragon Island fallen, when the ancestor of the Yin family looked at the island master of True Dragon Island and then spoke. Taoist Long, please let me have a look at this token. I have a method that might be worth a try. Hearing this, the island master of True Dragon Island immediately showed a look of joy and quickly handed the token over. If that's the case, then I will trouble Taoist Yin. The Yin family's ancestor nodded and then took the token, holding it in his hand, and began to inspect it carefully. After a good while, the Yin family's ancestor withdrew his gaze and then spoke leisurely. Not hiding anything from my fellow Taoists, my Yin family actually once obtained a copy of the records about the 5 elements ruins, which detailed the ways to discern these 5 elements command tokens. As the Yin family's ancestor spoke, his aura revealed itself, which was very calm but as deep as an abyss. At the same time, a green light emerged from his hand. A true 5 elements command token has a stable inner attribute aura, and it isn't affected by external auras. If you want to know the authenticity of this token, just testing it with a wood attribute cultivation technique will tell. Fortunately, the cultivation technique practiced by my Yin family is of the wood attribute. As the words of the Yin family's ancestor fell, the green light in his hand grew brighter, and the wood attribute aura from the 5 elements would command grew stronger as well. After a while, the Yin family's ancestor controlled the green light to weaken, and the wood attribute aura of the token also started to weaken. With time passing bit by bit, the green light in the Yin family's ancestor's hand dissipated, and the wooden attribute aura of the 5 elements would command completely vanished. With this occurrence, coupled with the method the Yin family's ancestor had just mentioned, it was clear that this 5 elements would command was not genuine. Following this, the Yin family's ancestor handed the now aura-less token back to the island master of True Dragon Island. And then he sighed. What a pity. Seeing this, the others also couldn't help but shake their heads. Then the group dispersed. The Yin family's ancestor also returned. The island master of True Dragon Island, meanwhile, handed the token back to the unfamiliar cultivator, and then he gave him a deep look before saying, "This 5 elements command token is fake." Ever since the Yin family's ancestor had finished testing, the unfamiliar cultivator had looked disappointed. "Thank you, senior." The unfamiliar cultivator took the token, bowed to the island master of True Dragon Island, and then walked back dejectedly. The island master of True Dragon Island didn't say anything further. After this matter, this trade meeting also neared its end, and the last item that the island master of True Dragon Island presented was one he intended to trade. It was a pill furnace and, moreover, a Tao artifact pill furnace. Seeing this pill furnace, the Yin family's ancestor immediately turned back, looking towards Lin Jing. "How about it? Why not this pill furnace? I will take down this pill furnace and then give it to you as a reward for helping our Yin family with alchemy," Elder Yin said. Lin Jing shook his head and said, "Thank you for your kindness, Elder. Although the pill furnace is not bad, mine is also quite good. Elder Yin, you needn't trouble yourself. I currently lack neither magical treasures nor pill furnaces, and as for alchemy, it is but a minor effort for me." No sooner had he finished speaking than Lin Jing added, "How about this? I actually have a question I would like to ask Elder Yin. How about you just answer this question for me?" Upon hearing this, Elder Yin immediately asked, "What question?" Lin Jing then said, "Elder Yin, I would like to know where in the southern outer sea I might find Jade soul algae." Elder Yin looked at Lin Jing and then said with a smile, "So you're looking for Jade soul algae, I see." With that, Elder Yin took out some Jade soul algae and handed it to Lin Jing. Lin Jing did not accept it and quickly said, "Elder, this must not be done. The Jade soul algae must be extremely important to you, Elder. I cannot take what you cherish. Just tell me where the Jade soul algae appears, and I will find it myself." Just then, the items that the strange cultivator had taken out were obviously precious, but the Yin family's ancestor would not trade them. It showed just how important the Jade Soul Algae was to him. If it had not been important, it would have been one thing, but given its importance to him, Lin Jing naturally could not take what he cherished. However, Elder Yin seemed to see through his thoughts. Then he asked Lin Jing, "Do you think the Jade Soul Algae is extremely important to me, and that's why you're asking me for the locations where they appear so you can go and collect them yourself?" While Elder Yin spoke, Lin Jing felt that he was enveloped by an aura, which indeed came from Elder Yin. Clearly, Elder Yin did not want outsiders to hear their upcoming conversation. "Yes, Elder." Since Elder Yin had already guessed, there was no need for Lin Jing to hide it any further. "The reason I don't want to trade is that although what that man offered was precious, it was not what I wanted. And the origin of that item is quite unique, and I prefer not to get involved in the karma that comes with it. That's why I didn't want to trade with him." Another point is that the Jade Soul Algae, although precious, has only limited use to me. This isn't like you. As an alchemist, if you could consume the Jade Soul Algae to enhance your soul spirit, it would greatly help your alchemy. "I see." With Elder Yan's explanation, Lin Jing immediately understood the situation. Elder Yin continued, "And this Jade Soul Algae, it's not easy to obtain." Here, Elder Yan's tone suddenly changed. "Do you know about the Sea of Strange Mist?" Lin Jing nodded. "I know." The Sea of Strange Mist was so well known that Lin Jing naturally knew about it. The Sea of Strange Mist is a special phenomenon within the demonic monster sea. It does not have a fixed location and appears sporadically in various parts of the demonic monster sea. It is indeed strange. Whenever the Sea of Strange Mist appears, a thick white fog rises in the area, and anyone enveloped by this mist, be they human or cultivator, will disappear without a trace, never to be seen again. The location of the Sea of Strange Mist is also completely unpredictable. Sometimes one might be flying over the sea only to be suddenly engulfed by the mist, and thus disappear. This is not something that hasn't happened before. Previously, there were cultivators journeying with friends through the sea. They just happened to be some distance apart, and they encountered the Sea of Strange Mist. His friend was directly enveloped by the mist. No matter how he shouted, his friend seemed not to hear and flew straight into the mist until completely disappearing. Seeing the fog disperse, he did not dare linger and quickly fled. Later, that friend never appeared again. Of course, this is just one example. There's another, more famous, instance of the Sea of Strange Mist happening on an island. It was an island in the eastern outer seas, as bustling as Beehai Island. The cultivators on the island numbered in the tens of thousands. Yet, that island encountered the Sea of Strange Mist. The sudden arrival of the mist engulfed nearly half of the island, and that half had tens of thousands of cultivators within it. After the mist dissipated, those tens of thousands of cultivators had completely vanished with the mist. To this day, no one has returned. This shows just how terrifying the Sea of Strange Mist is. Elder Yin then said, "I have encountered the Sea of Strange Mist before, but I was lucky not to be enveloped by the mist. The Jade Soul Algae was left behind after the mist dissipated. If there is likely any place where Jade Soul Algae might appear, it is only within the Sea of Strange Mist. The Sea of Strange is filled with mists. It's truly not a place Lin Jing can venture into. If the only place within the southern outer sea that has Jade Soul Algae is there, Lin Jing will have to give it up for now." Soon, the Yin family patriarch informed Lin Jing that if he truly desired Jade Soul Algae, he would have to venture into the inner sea. In the entire demonic monster sea, the area occupied by the 4 outer seas does not exceed 30%. The remaining 70% belongs to the inner sea region. The inner sea region is vast, with several peculiar sea areas that produce Jade Soul Algae, not to mention other special places. The cultivation resources in the inner sea are much richer compared to those of the outer seas. In the end, the Yin family patriarch still gave Lin Jing the piece of Jade Soul Algae. Although named Algae, Jade soul algae is not a type of sea algae spirit plant. It is merely a peculiar spiritual object, lifeless and resembling sea algae. Jade soul algae is lifeless but possesses a soul, usually found in chaotic and violent sea regions. It is extremely sensitive to the presence of living beings and moves very quickly in the sea, making it extremely difficult to capture. However, it has one fatal flaw. It cannot leave the sea. The moment it leaves the water and encounters the spiritual power of the outside world, its soul essence will instantly dissipate and merge into its entire body. Only then does Jade soul algae truly become Jade soul algae, possessing the effect of enhancing the soul spirit. Before this, even if you caught and consumed Jade soul algae, it would not have the effect of strengthening the soul spirit. Since Jade soul algae doesn't belong to spirit plants, naturally Lin Jing cannot cultivate it within the system space. This inevitably made Lin Jing feel somewhat regretful. After all, the strength added to the soul spirit by only a single piece of Jade soul algae is indeed limited, far from enough for Lin Jing to practice the spirit division technique. Although limited, is still better than nothing. Now that he had this piece of Jade soul algae, Lin Jing could practice the spirit division technique a bit sooner. As for everything else, he could only take it one step at a time. The pill furnace offered by the island master of True Dragon Island ultimately failed to be sold at the event. However, he seemed not to be overly concerned about it. The trading event had a low success rate in terms of deals made, possibly because as one's cultivation increases, the various resources required for cultivation also increase, especially for these individuals. In the entire southern outer sea, they're among the top existences. Sometimes, to obtain certain treasures, one may not find them anywhere in the entire southern outer sea and will have no choice but to search in the inner sea or other places. This is the sorrow of scarce cultivation resources. After the trading event ended, everyone gradually departed. Lin Jing also left the welcoming immortal pavilion with Yin Ming and the Yin family patriarch, returning to the Yin family's small courtyard. After arriving back, there were further discussions among them. At this time, Lin Jing also inquired about the date for going to Spirit Rock Island for alchemy to prepare in advance. After making his inquiries, Lin Jing did not stay any longer. He bid his farewells to the group and left Beihai City. After leaving Beihai City, Lin Jing immediately summoned the Shadow Escape flying boat and headed straight for Liyan Island. His trip to the Nanming domain this time, indeed, lasted quite a while. He hadn't been back in years, and he was unsure how Liyan Island was faring now. Thinking thus, Lin Jing sped up and flew straight towards Liyan Island. Not far from Beihai Island, there was an island. Although it's close to Beihai City, the small island isn't very large and lacks cultivation resources. Even the population is sparse. Ordinary cultivators flying by would not even bother to give a glance. Yet at the mountainside of this inconspicuous island, there was a very unremarkable and simple straw hut. This straw hut was rooted halfway up the mountain, blending with the surrounding woods. If one wasn't paying attention, it would be difficult to notice. And even if it were discovered, few would care. After all, it's just an extremely simple straw hut with nothing remarkable about it, likely constructed by mortals who had strayed onto the island, naturally not drawing any cultivator's attention. Yet within this inconspicuous straw hut, two people were present. One of them was the stranger at the trading event who had presented a counterfeit 5 elements would command. The other, a gaunt elder with a pale complexion yet ruthless eyes. If Lin Jing were here, he would undoubtedly be shocked, because this elder was none other than Li Mingwu. The stranger stood respectfully in front of Li Mingwu. Li Mingwu, looking at the stranger before him, then said, "Lingy, tell me your thoughts." The stranger bowed and replied to Li Mingwu, "Island Master Li, based on what I observed today, the Island Master of True Dragon Island is unaware of the affair regarding the 5 elements would command. It shouldn't have been him who took it. It turns out this stranger was actually true person Ling Yi." After listening, Li Mingwu pondered for a moment, then spoke again, asking, Then who do you think is most likely to have obtained the 5 elements with command? Bai Yi or the demon Lord Wan Mo? True person Ling Yi then gave a bow to Li Mingwu and expressed his opinion. I think demon Lord Wan Mo is more likely. Having said that, true person Ling Yi began to explain. Previously at the 5 Elements Cave Mansion, he had used a peculiar magical treasure to snatch away our 5 Elements Water command. It's possible that he had this treasure coincidentally, or he could have prepared in advance, and maybe he even had a way to enter the wood hall beforehand. As for Bai Yi, here, true person Ling Yi paused momentarily, then continued. I've stayed by his side for quite some time, and I couldn't know him better. Moreover, Island Master Li, you also know that before discovering I was your man, Bai Yi had always trusted me a lot. Even the affair of the 5 Elements Cave Mansion was all arranged by me under your instructions. Therefore, I can be certain that he definitely didn't have time to prepare, nor did he have the ability to open the wood hall beforehand. Having heard Ling Yi's analysis, Li Mingwu nodded. Ling Yi had made reasonable points, and they were factual. But Li Mingwu still felt there was something he was overlooking. He then lowered his head, beginning to contemplate. After pondering for a moment, Li Mingwu suddenly raised his head and then said to Ling Yi, Ling Yi, do you think it's possible for any of the others who entered the 5 Elements Cave Mansion with us that day? For instance, Lin Jing, the one who cultivates the 5 Elements cultivation technique. After all, it was in the 5 Elements Cave Mansion, and he cultivates the 5 Elements cultivation technique. It's possible that his technique has its own wonders, which could help him enter the 5 Elements wood hall ahead of time. Also, didn't you say that Lin Jing has been missing for over 20 years? And he still has not been found to this day. After listening, Ling Yi immediately responded, Island Master Li, I was just about to discuss this matter with you. Today at the trade fair, I saw Lin Jing. Oh, you saw him? Li Mingwu looked at Ling Yi. Ling Yi nodded and then continued. Yes, Lin Jing has somehow gained the support of the Yin family. At the trade fair, the Yin family's ancestor openly declared his protection over him. He even got his good friend, Divine Toad, involved. Upon hearing this, Li Mingwu frowned. What exactly did he do to gain favor with the Yin family? Do you know? Ling Yi then said. What he exactly did, I do not know. However, from their conversation, it seems that Lin Jing is also a 5th-grade alchemist, and it appears he helped the Yin family with alchemy. As he spoke, Ling Yi's tone shifted. Oh right, there's one more thing. The Jade Soul Algae you wanted me to trade with the Yin family's ancestor, I couldn't get it. Saying so, Ling Yi took out the jade box from a space ring and then handed it to Li Mingwu. Li Mingwu looked at the jade box and then took it with his hand. If it wasn't secured, it doesn't matter. It was just a test in any case. The injury to my soul spirit is almost healed, and once I'm healed, I can afford to delay a little longer and then begin the next plan. After speaking, Li Mingwu turned his attention back to Ling Yi and said, Since Lin Jing has returned, when the time comes, dedicate some attention to him and see if he displays any unusual behavior. Also, I think what you said is correct. Our main suspect should still be the demon Lord Wan Mo. Although demon Lord Wan Mo and Bai Yi do not usually interfere with each other, they are allies. Most importantly, demon Lord Wan Mo still possesses the 5 Elements water command that he snatched from us, and both of them have 5 Elements command tokens, and it is quite possible they have 3. If they then pull in one more person, and if they form an alliance of 3, they will pose a huge threat to me when I enter the 5 Elements ruins with them. Therefore, I must break this situation. There are a total of 5 Elements command tokens, and only those who carry these tokens can use them to enter the 5 Elements ruins. If out of these 5, 3 people form an alliance, it will be a tremendous threat to the remaining 2. In these 5 Elements ruins, one must enter at all costs. Because inside the 5 Elements ruins, there reside 5 Elements true spirits, and Li Mingwu, after a lifetime of effort, has already gathered 4 5 Elements true spirits, now only lacking the last one. Once he gathers the 5th, he can coalesce the 5 Elements and step into the solidifying body realm. Hence, he must go to the Five Elements ruins. Ling Yi, having followed Li Mingwu for a long time, naturally knew this situation as well. So after hearing what Li Mingwu had said, he promptly asked, Master Li, what do you plan to do? Li Mingwu spoke, addressing true Lord Ling Yi. During this period, go to True Dragon Island and stay there for the time being. After that, you can gradually make contact with the Dragon Cultivator. The Five Elements ruins are fatally tempting to those of us who have been at the nascent soul peak for many years, and the Dragon Cultivator is no exception. But he does not possess a Five Elements command token. All you need to do is approach him at the right moment. Then propose a cooperation to jointly eliminate Demon Lord Wan Mo. As for the terms, it's the Five Elements Water Command in Demon Lord Wan Mo's possession. At this point, Li Mingwu sneered and continued. With this condition, there's no way the Dragon Cultivator could refuse. Upon hearing this, true Lord Ling, he hastily spoke with flattery. Island Master Li, your wisdom is unparalleled. Making contact with the Dragon Cultivator not only allows us to eliminate Demon Lord Wan Mo, removing one adversary, but also to dissolve his alliance with Bai Yi. By then, with only Bai left, he certainly won't be able to stir up any serious trouble. We might even have the opportunity to eliminate Bai Yi as well. Li Mingwu shook his head and said, Bai Yi isn't that foolish. Our fight against Demon Lord Wan Mo is about taking him by surprise, to strike before he can react, and take the opportunity to join forces with the Dragon Cultivator to remove him. But as soon as Demon Lord Wan Mo encounters trouble, Bai Yi will immediately become vigilant, and we will lose any chance we had. We still lack the final fire command, which we've yet to find. We need to gather the other 4 tokens to deduce the location of the last fire command. If we push Bai Yi into a corner, he might do something drastic, even possibly destroy the 5 Elements Earth command he holds. In such a case, the loss would outweigh the gain. True Lord Ling, he was embarrassed and bowed to Li Mingwu, saying, Understand. Li Mingwu nodded slightly. Good, as long as you understand. I'm going into seclusion for a while, so the task of contacting the Dragon Cultivator falls to you. True Lord Ling, he nodded. Island Master Li, leave it to me and rest assured. Lian Island. Ever since Lin Jing advanced to the nascent soul stage, Lian Island had once again flourished, especially the Li Yin marketplace, which was among the top in the Thousand Islands domain. It could even nearly rival the marketplace of True Dragon Island. Furthermore, Yutian Island's island master Bai, he even made a point of taking care of Lin Jing. Therefore, even though Lin Jing had been away for over 20 years, no one dared to covet the Li Yin marketplace. Before Lin Jing arrived at Li Yin Island, he noticed many cultivators heading there. Most of these cultivators were at the foundation establishment stage. However, there are also quite a few at the Golden Core stage. Since nascent soul cultivators were rare in the Thousand Islands domain and resources weren't abundant, not even the Li Yin marketplace often had treasures that nascent soul cultivators needed. Hence, during the journey, Lin Jing didn't come across any nascent soul cultivators. As he was approaching Li Yin Island, Lin Jing directly activated his divine sense. His abundant divine sense immediately surged outward, enveloping everything in front of him. A divinity transformation stage's divine sense could effortlessly probe hundreds of miles. Lin Jing extended his divine sense like a canopy, instantly covering the nearby seas and Li Yin Island within it. Everything on the island flashed into Lin Jing's mind in an instant. Of course, except for the northern region of Li Yin Island, which was covered by a formation, making it impossible to probe even with his divinity transformation stage's divine sense. Within Lin Jing's divine sense, he could clearly see the happenings in the Li Yin marketplace and the various activities within Li Yin City. Nothing could escape his probe, and under such an extensive divine sense scrutiny, the cultivators were oblivious, continuing with their own activities. Their cultivation was simply too inferior compared to Lin Jing's. If he didn't want them to notice, they would never be able to detect anything. Divine sense works like this. As one's cultivation improves, the cultivator's divine sense becomes more solid. Low-grade cultivators can't hide their actions under the divine sense probe of higher-grade cultivators. Even when using divine sense for messaging, under the coverage of a higher-grade cultivator's divine sense, it's quite the same as broadcasting loudly. For instance, when Lin Jing and Zhang Jian faced Han Bingyan's master, the message Zhang Jian transmitted to Lin Jing was heard word for word by Han Bingyan's master. It was for this reason that Zhang Jian ended up facing retaliation. Fortunately, Master Han Bingyan bore no ill will, and Zhang Jian actually benefited from the misfortune as it significantly advanced his cultivation. Thinking of Zhang Jian, Lin Jing couldn't help but recall the time in the Nanming domain when Zhang Jian was about to undergo his tribulation. He had originally planned to act as his protector during the tribulation. But just then, he found himself being chased by an elder of the Nanming immortal sect. This delay caused him to miss Zhang Jian's tribulation. By the time he had dealt with the elder and met with Yi Yun, who had been looking for him, he learned from Yi Yun that Zhang Jian had already successfully transcended the tribulation. At that time, Lin Jing was traveling with Shi San, and since Zhang Jian had already succeeded, he did not return. Instead, he continued on his journey. Now, thinking back, he still owed Zhang Jian a promise. Just as Lin Jing was reminiscing about the past, suddenly 2 people broke into his divine sense range. 2 acquaintances familiar to Lin Jing. Among these 2, one was Yu Qingyang, and coincidentally, the other was none other than Zhang Jian. The 2 of them flew on their swords towards Liyan Island, and it was at this moment that Zhang Jian spoke to Yu Qingyang. Qingyang, do you really have no idea when Brother Lin will be back? Yu Qingyang looked helpless as she replied, Elder Zhang, I truly don't know when the island master will return. It's not just me. Even his disciple, Yi Yun, has no idea when he'll be back. Seeing Yu Qingyang's expression, it seemed that this wasn't the first time Zhang Jian had asked this question. Zhang Jian pursed his lips before speaking. He had promised to help me with my tribulation, but when the critical moment came, he was nowhere to be found. Fine, people disappear, but to vanish for such a long time. I'm beginning to wonder whether he went off to get married and have kids in the Nanming domain. As he finished speaking, Zhang Jian, with great interest, turned to Yu Qingyang and said, Qingyang, do you think Brother Lin might truly have some canary kept hidden away in the Nanming domain, indulging in pleasures day and night, which is why he's not returned? Yu Qingyang was rather speechless regarding Zhang Jian. Elder Zhang, our island master is not that sort of person. Having said this, Yu Qingyang glanced at Zhang Jian and couldn't help but add in her mind, he's not like you. Zhang Jian had a habit, or rather a hobby. It was to rescue little girls and raise them to be his maids. This was apparent even at their first meeting with Lin Jing, and Zhang Jian made no effort to hide this particular indulgence. The point is, he's all talk and no action. The real him did indeed take in some pitiful girls as maids, but he never laid a hand on any of them. Moreover, he treated those girls quite well. He provided them with cultivation techniques if they needed them, elixir medicine if necessary, so it wasn't at all like he was raising them to be mere maids. In Zhang Jian's words, it's the fun in nurturing them. You wouldn't understand. Because of this, the maids held him in high regard as well. Next, Zhang Jian glanced at Yu Qingyang, his mouth twitching slightly before he sighed. Sigh. If it weren't for the fact that my Yuxing island couldn't spare any people, I'd have gone to the Nanming domain to look for him. No sooner had Zhang Jian finished speaking than a voice rang out. I think it's not so much that Yuxing island can't spare people, but rather that you can't bear to leave your maids behind. The voice approached from afar, growing closer and closer. Upon hearing this voice, Yu Qingyang's body shuddered. Then she abruptly lifted her head to look in the direction the sound came from. Zhang Jian also looked up, his eyes shining. Very soon, a figure came into their view. Island Master. Yu Qingyang stared at the approaching figure, somewhat incredulous. Huh, Brother Lin, you're finally back. And Zhang Jian's face lit up with joy. The newcomer was, of course, Lin Jing. Lin Jing was swift, arriving before them in the blink of an eye. Upon arrival, Lin Jing looked them over and examined them. Yu Qingyang had already reached the middle phase of Golden Core, whereas Zhang Jian had attained the initial phase of Nascent Soul. Island Master, you're finally back, Yu Qingyang said to Lin Jing, her voice filled with excitement. Yes, I'm back, Lin Jing said. Yu Qingyang hadn't changed much from before, but the aura of her cultivation seemed steadier. Also, possibly because she had been managing Liyan Island for a long time, she exuded a somewhat extraordinary air. Brother Lin, we were just talking about you, Zhang Jian said. Lin Jing looked at Zhang Jian, then narrowed his eyes and smiled before speaking. I heard that. You were just spreading rumors about me. Not at all. You must have heard wrong. Zhang Jian felt a bit guilty at first, but halfway through his sentence, he suddenly bristled. Oh, really? I haven't even started to trouble you yet. And here you are, accusing me first. Didn't you say you would help me with my tribulation? Where were you? When it was my critical moment, you disappeared. If I hadn't been lucky, I might have never seen you again. Upon hearing this, Lin Jing's demeanor weakened a bit, and he chuckled awkwardly. Heh. Wasn't it just an accident that kept me from making it on time? Zhang Jian apparently wasn't truly angry. As soon as Lin Jing finished speaking, Zhang Jian quickly replied, his voice laced with concern. By the way, how are you? I heard from Yiyun that last time you encountered a strong enemy and had to lead the enemy away. Lin Jing nodded and said, Actually, it was fine. It was just some leftover troubles from before, but it's all settled now. It's not worth mentioning anymore. Lin Jing hadn't shared the true circumstances of his encounter with the elder of the Nanming immortal sect with anyone. Even Yiyun was no exception. Initially, when pursued by the old ancestor of the Nanming immortal sect, Lin Jing only messaged Yiyun that he had encountered a powerful enemy and asked him to tell Li Qingling to take the Li family back to Liyan Island for temporary refuge. Yiyun trusted Lin Jing implicitly, and upon receiving the message, immediately related to Li Qingling. Afterward, he and Li Qingling together led the Li family away. Even the Li family's businesses were temporarily set aside at that time. It wasn't until several years later, when Yiyun met Lin Jing again and learned that the crisis was over, that the Li family sent people back to sell off all their properties in Nanshan Immortal City, leaving only the Li family's ancestral home. Following that, Lin Jing again asked Zhang Jian, What about you? Earlier you said you were lucky. Did something unexpected happen during your tribulation? Zhang Jian nodded, still shaken. Everything was prepared for the tribulation, and at first, nothing unusual happened. But later, a damned demon cultivator tried to disturb my tribulation, wanting me to perish in the heavenly tribulation. That demon cultivator's cultivation wasn't low, and even with the combined efforts of a few friends I'd asked for help, we could not stop him. I thought I was done for. Fortunately, a nascent soul demon cultivator appeared and took action to eliminate that demon cultivator for me. That allowed me to successfully undergo the tribulation. If it weren't for that demon cultivator, I would probably have perished under the heavenly tribulation. After hearing this, Lin Jing was somewhat incredulous. From what you're saying, you don't seem to recognize that demon cultivator? Zhang Jian shook his head, saying, I don't recognize him. At first, I thought he was a demon cultivator I'd seen before, but the two of them are nothing alike. Even their cultivation techniques are different. His demonic techniques were very strange. It was the first time I'd seen them, and after he eliminated that demon cultivator, he just left. It seems he had a grudge against that demon cultivator and came specifically to kill him. Lin Jing pondered for a moment, then suddenly understood. It's highly possible that this demon cultivator was still Li Tanyu. After all, being a demon cultivator who doesn't kill is already rare, let alone one who would step forward to help a stranger. Previously, because of that trade meeting, Lin Jing was trapped in the devouring spirit blood realm, and trouble arose on Liyan Island. It was Li Tanyu who attempted to help, and at that time, he had fought side by side with Zhang Jian. This time, Zhang Jian's tribulation might have been because Lin Jing couldn't return on time due to an accident. So Li Qingling had sought out Li Tanyu to help Zhang Jian with his tribulation. And Li Tanyu probably didn't want to be recognized by Zhang Jian. so he changed his appearance. As for whether it was actually Li Tanyu, one only needed to ask Li Qingling or ask Li Tanyu directly. However, that affair had already passed. Next, Lin Jing didn't continue to inquire further. Instead, he flew towards Li Yin Island together with the two. Soon, they returned to the northern part of Li Yin Island, to Lin Jing's courtyard home. Having not returned for a long time, the courtyard remained spotless. Clearly, someone had been cleaning regularly. Afterward, Lin Jing led Zhang Jian and Yu Qingyang into the courtyard. Upon Lin Jing's return, Lin Ju and Yi Yun received the news and immediately rushed over. "Brother, master," both spoke in unison. Lin Jing looked at the two. Yi Yun was as usual, but Lin Ju had changed a lot during this time. Perhaps because she had been helping Yu Qingyang manage Li Yin Island, the current Lin Ju, no longer as impetuous, appeared much more composed. However, having not seen Lin Jing again for 20 years, Lin Ju was still unable to suppress her excitement. Lin Jing smiled at Lin Ju. "You've grown up and become much steadier." Lin Ju smiled back, saying, "Of course I had to grow up. I can't always rely on brother. I must share his burdens." At this moment, Zhang Jian also spoke. "Lin Ju, as a sibling, having this realization is good. If outsiders were present, Lin Ju always appeared as a man. Even Zhang Jian did not know that Lin Ju was actually a woman. Not just Zhang Jian, even Yu Qingyang did not know. The only ones now aware were Lin Jing, Yi Yun, and Li Qingling, and it seemed Lin Ju currently had no intentions of revealing this. Regarding this matter, Lin Jing would follow Lin Ju's wishes. Whenever she was ready to reveal it, she could do so. Regarding Zhang Jian's words, Lin Ju just smiled and offered no explanation. It was at that moment a black shadow swiftly flew in. The shadow was small, but its speed was extremely fast. It swooped in with a whoosh and landed directly on Lin Jing's shoulder. Only then did everyone see clearly that the shadow was Little Sparrow. Little Sparrow's speed had increased a lot compared to before, indicating that its cultivation had also improved significantly. After flying in, Little Sparrow landed on Lin Jing's shoulder, visibly excited and hopping around incessantly. Shortly after, Li Qingling also walked in. Li Qingling was still smiling as before and said to Lin Jing, "Lin Jing, you're back. I just finished refining a batch of elixir medicine and came straight here when I heard you had returned." Lin Jing looked at Li Qingling and smiled, nodding. This time around, all the familiar faces had essentially gathered. Subsequently, everyone sat in Lin Jing's small courtyard, sipping tea while catching up on recent events. Yu Qingyang also took this opportunity to inform Lin Jing about some of the events that had transpired during his absence from Li Yin Island. She also narrated the developments that had taken place on the island during this period. Li Yin Island had been developing quite well. Besides the maturity of Li Yin Marketplace, the number of spirit fields on the island had also increased significantly. Even the existence of Li Yin Marketplace had precipitated many nearby islands to start planting spirit plants extensively. Given that Li Yin Island's area was quite limited, making it impossible to open up more spirit fields, the buzz around Li Yin Marketplace led to a situation where the demand for Elixir Pavilion's medicines outstripped the supply. Therefore, Yu Qingyang began to aggressively purchase various spirit plants. She even partnered with other island masters to have them cultivate spirit plants while Li Yin Island took responsibility for purchasing. It was under these circumstances that they managed to just barely maintain the supply of medicines at Elixir Pavilion. As for Zhang Jian's Yuxing Island, there was no need to elaborate further. It could nearly be called the spirit field base for Li Yin Elixir Pavilion. Beyond Li Yin Island, there was also the Li family. Not long after the Li family arrived at Li Yin Island, they, with the help of Li Qingling and Yi Yun, occupied a nearby island. Their current development was also quite satisfactory. After discussing these matters, the conversation among the group gradually shifted to their cultivation. Zhang Jian had already reached the first layer of nascent soul, nearing the second layer, while Yi Yun had reached the peak of golden core and was likely not far from preparing for his tribulation. Lin Jing and Li Qingling were both at the 9th level of Golden Core. Only Yu Qingyang, due to her exceptionally poor aptitude, had barely reached the 5th level of Golden Core. Previously, Lin Jing had refined several cleansing spirit elixirs. He had administered them to Li Qingling, Lin Ju, and Yi Yan. The chance for supreme grade quality of cleansing spirit elixir was indeed not low. All three of them successfully improved their aptitude. It was only Yu Qingyang who remained with a 4-attribute spiritual root, making her cultivation progress slow. Yu Qingyang had been following him all this while. Although Liyan Island belonged to Lin Jing, it was Yu Qingyang who had always been busily managing the island. She significantly relieved Lin Jing of many responsibilities. Lin Jing himself had become more of a hands-off shopkeeper. Presently, Lin Jing's system space contained white jade, cleansing spirit grass, and various materials needed to refine cleansing spirit elixir. If he wanted cleansing spirit elixir, he could refine it anytime, as refining a batch of cleansing spirit elixir was not at all troublesome for Lin Jing. After some thought, Lin Jing decided that in the coming period, he would refine 2 more batches of cleansing spirit elixir. He would give them to Yu Qingyang, Zhang Jian, and Li Tongyu, the 3 of them. Actually, Lin Jing also had other qualities of cleansing spirit elixir on him, but those of other qualities were intended for distribution through the 7 Seas Hall, and he did not plan to use them on those close to him. Because the other qualities of cleansing spirit elixir were too low, and the probability of successfully improving aptitude was also low. If the use of cleansing spirit elixir failed, then even if Lin Jing still had cleansing spirit elixir, using it would not be effective. With a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to defy destiny, Lin Jing naturally would not skimp on his close ones. The conversation this time lasted very long, and afterwards, they all went to Liyan Marketplace together. Zhang Jian originally came over to help strengthen the formation of Liyan Marketplace. It just happened that he ran into Lin Jing, which delayed things until now. Zhang Jian was now a 5th-rank array master. Strengthening the formation was a piece of cake for him. It was not long before the formation was completely reinforced. After the reinforcement was completed, perhaps still pining for the maids on Yuxing Island, Zhang Jian did not stay long. After bidding farewell to the others, he left. After Zhang Jian left, Yu Qingyang also departed to deal with some affairs on Liyan Island. Lin Jing had previously told Yu Qingyang to delegate her tasks to others below her. Don't overwork yourself. While Yu Qingyang did hand over a portion of the affairs to others, she always felt somewhat uneasy. Most of the time, she still had to personally check before she could rest assured. Furthermore, with the business of Flame Island bustling, involving not just the island's own affairs but also collaborations with surrounding islands, Yu Qingyang had to make an appearance herself. Therefore, Yu Qingyang was actually quite busy. Of course, sometimes when she needed to go into seclusion for cultivation or the like, she would leave the island's matters to Lin Ju or Li Qingling. When Yu Qingyang left, Lin Ju followed her as well. It had been like this for some time. Lin Ju had been assisting Yu Qingyang with some of the affairs on Flame Island. After the 2 departed, Yi Yan then returned to continue his cultivation. Yi Yan was about to prepare for his tribulation, and needed to be in seclusion during this time, especially vigilant. Had it not been for Lin Jing's return, he likely wouldn't have come out at all. With the departure of the others, only Lin Jing and Li Qingling were left behind. Then, the 2 returned to the small courtyard. How is the Li family doing now? Lin Jing asked while looking at Li Qingling. All right. Li Qingling began to speak while looking at Lin Jing, and then continued. The conditions in the Thousand Islands domain are much better than in the Nanming domain, and the spiritual energy is also richer. Since the Li family came here, I have set up a shop for them in the Fong market. Relying on this shop, the family's development has been swift, and they have now firmly established themselves. Lin Jing nodded his head, understanding that since Li Qingling was still the head of the Li family, she naturally had everything well arranged for the family. Lin Jing continued to inquire. Li brother's tribulation before, it was you who lent a hand, wasn't it? Aside from him, I can't think of anyone else who would have proactively helped him. Li Qingling nodded her head. Yes. You were not here at the time, so I'd asked my brother to keep an eye out. Thankfully, it was a close call. Indeed. Thank goodness it was just a close call. Lin Jing nodded in agreement. Having said that, Lin Jing looked up at Li Qingling before asking, "By the way, how is your brother now?" Li Qingling then spoke up. The 7 disciples under the demon Lord Wan Mo have been continuously fighting among themselves in secret, and his situation isn't very good. However, my brother has an ally, and the 2 of them have been cooperating, so there shouldn't be any issues for now. Your brother's ally is still that 7th disciple of the demon lord from before, right? Li Qingling nodded and said, "Yes. For some reason, my brother seems to trust him a great deal." Lin Jing knew of Li Tan's ally, the former 7th disciple of the demon lord, and it was precisely because of this ally's help that Li Tan managed to escape the control of the demon lord. However, even though Li Tan had mentioned his ally several times, he had never revealed any other information about him. Lin Jing was also very curious about why Li Tan trusted this ally so much. So, Lin Jing asked Li Qingling, "Have you ever met your brother's ally?" Li Qingling shook her head. "No. My brother doesn't want the affairs of Wan Mo Island to involve Flame Island, so he has kept our relationship a secret up until now." Lin Jing nodded his head. Lin Jing knew that Li Tan was doing this for the safety of Flame Island. If the relationship between Li Tan and the people of Flame Island were to be revealed, not only would Li Tan himself be in trouble, but they would all similarly face considerable trouble. As for the present, even though Lin Jing had reached the divinity transformation level of cultivation, putting him in the same realm as the demon lord Wan Mo, he had not yet comprehended the divine arts. Lin Jing was not yet keen on revealing his strength and seeking out trouble for himself. It would only be when he had made significant progress in his cultivation and could face anyone without fear that he would consider revealing it. At this moment, it was as if Li Qingling suddenly remembered something and abruptly asked Lin Jing, "By the way, Brother Lin Jing, I heard that the Nanming domain has now recovered, that a senior stepped in and drove out the demon clan. Is that right?" Lin Jing nodded. "Yes, the Nanming domain has recovered now, and even the demon race secret realm has been reopened." Upon hearing this, Li Qingling immediately showed a burst of joy. If the demon race secret realm is open, doesn't that mean we can enter the secret realm to see Qingling? However, at this point, Lin Jing fell silent. Seeing Lin Jing's expression, Li Qingling seemed to sense something was amiss, so she asked, "Brother Lin Jing, could there be some trouble?" Lin Jing remained silent for a moment, then spoke. "I've been there to check. It's just, they've all disappeared. I don't know where they've gone." Li Qingling was taken aback. "Disappeared? How could this happen?" After pondering for a while, Lin Jing spoke again. "I have some speculations, but I'm not certain if they're correct. No one can ascend Tongtian Peak. So, if they were to leave, it could only be of Qingling's own volition. I suspect that something unexpected occurred in the demon race secret realm. Perhaps Qingling's true body has awoken, and that's why they disappeared together. But this is just a guess of mine. As for what actually happened, I'm clueless." After hearing this, Li Qingling also fell silent. A short while later, Li Qingling spoke up, saying, "I just hope that Qingling is safe and sound." Lin Jing nodded in agreement. Afterward, Lin Jing and Li Qingling had a conversation for a while. After their talk, Li Qingling left. Once Li Qingling had departed, Lin Jing directly entered the system space. Lin Jing now had over 170,000 harvest points. With just over 20,000 more, he could upgrade the alchemy room again. In the coming period, Lin Jing planned to refine some elixir medicines first to accumulate harvest points so that he could enhance the grade of the alchemy room once more. Previously in Bihai City, when Lin Jing and the Yin family patriarch arranged the date for alchemy, to avoid any trouble, the Yin family patriarch decided to refine all the elixir medicines in one go. If they were to refine them all at once, a portion of the elixir medicines would still lack some adjuvant ingredients. Therefore, the Yin family patriarch decided that at earliest 1 year and at latest 2 years, the Yin family would have prepared all the auxiliary herbs. Once everything was ready, the Yin family would send someone to notify Lin Jing. Lin Jing hoped to gather the remaining harvest points during this period and upgrade the alchemy room once again. After the upgrade, both his success rate in every batch of refinement and the quality of the elixir medicines would improve. Most importantly, even the success rate of refining pure elixirs would increase. Soon after, Lin Jing walked towards the alchemy room. Time flies swiftly by. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed since Lin Jing returned to Liyan Island. During that year, Lin Jing seldom went out. If he was not engaged in alchemy, he was contemplating his divine arts. He was also refining the great dream, ancient mirror. 1 year might not seem very long in the outside world, but most of that time, Lin Jing spent within the system space. During this period, Lin Jing had already absorbed a small portion of the demon infant inside his dantian. He had now broken through to the middle stage of divinity transformation. It has to be said, absorbing the demon infant increased his power incredibly fast. Without much meditation or cultivation, his cultivation level was increasing daily and at a speed that was much faster than regular cultivation. In a few more years, Lin Jing estimated he could completely absorb the demon infant. Looking at the current situation, even though advancing to the later stages of divinity transformation might be difficult after absorbing the demon infant, stepping into the 6th level of divinity transformation should be no problem. Additionally, Lin Jing had also made some progress in understanding the divine arts. As for the refinement of the great dream ancient mirror, it proved somewhat tricky and would require a significant period of time to thoroughly refine. The one goal nearing completion was the accumulation of 200,000 harvest points in the system space. To accumulate these 20,000 additional harvest points, Lin Jing consumed quite a number of the low-tier spiritual plants accumulated over the years on Liyan Island. Because only by refining low-tier elixir medicines could pure elixir medicines be made. Each successful refinement of a pure elixir would grant additional harvest point from the system, although the bonus each time was small. For every pure elixir produced, only 5 or 10 harvest points were added, but by continuously refining without a break, Lin Jing managed to accumulate quite some. Even the elixir medicines that had already been refined were directly recycled by Lin Jing in exchange for harvest points. This way, harvest points surged rapidly. The only downside was that this method consumed alchemy ingredients excessively. Without a large expanse of spirit fields to support the costs, such consumption was simply unsustainable. Technically speaking, gathering those 20,000 harvest points through alchemy wouldn't have been difficult for Lin Jing. Liyan Island had so many spirit fields and even cooperation with other islands. There were plenty of them available. What actually limited Lin Jing was the time it took for alchemy. Even a single batch of none other than elixir medicines required at least an hour as a starting point for every pill master. Even as a 6th-rank alchemist who also cultivated the ancient alchemy arts, enhancing his speed of alchemy significantly, Lin Jing still needed at least half an hour to refine one batch of elixir medicines, let alone those of higher rank. The higher the rank of the elixir medicine, the longer the time required for alchemy. It was also because of this that Lin Jing had only just managed to accumulate 200,000 harvest points. Opening the system panel, Lin Jing looked at the system panel before his eyes. Alchemy room, level 6, upgradable. Divine sense strength increase, 60. Alchemy success rate increase, 6th rank 10%, 5th rank 20%, 4th rank 30%, 3rd rank 40%, 2nd rank, 1st rank 50% full. Quality of elixir medicine improvement, 6th rank 10%, 5th rank 20%. Chance of producing pure elixir, 6th rank 10%, 5th rank 20%. Required for upgrade, 200,000/200,000 harvest points. The alchemy room must be emptied before upgrading. Afterward, Lin Jing packed up the pill furnace he had just finished using to refine elixirs. After putting the pill furnace away, Lin Jing operated on the panel for a while, and then a system notification sounded. Ding! System notification. Deducting 200,000 0 harvest points. Alchemy room upgrade starting. The upgrade will take 72 hours. Upgrade is about to commence. The host must immediately exit the alchemy room. Lin Jing then closed the system panel and left the alchemy room. Upon leaving the alchemy room, the whole room began to change and was enveloped in a light curtain. The 3 days needed for the upgrade were not particularly long. With the alchemy room upgrading, Lin Jing didn't stay inside the system space any longer. Instead, he summoned the system and exited the system space. After leaving the system space, Lin Jing appeared directly in his own small courtyard. Next, Lin Jing sent out his divine sense and discovered that Yi Yun was still cultivating. Lin Jing could clearly sense his aura, which had become extremely robust. Yi Yun was preparing for his tribulation in the next few days and was currently adjusting his state. Yesterday, Yu Qingyang had gone to find Zhang Jian, planning to find a suitable location for the tribulation and to ask Zhang Jian to help set up the necessary formation. Now the two had already returned and were waiting in Liyan City. Actually, Lin Jing should have come out yesterday. However, in order to quickly gather the 200,000 harvest points needed for the upgrade of the alchemy room, Lin Jing had spent a bit more time, so he came out later than expected. Seeing that Zhang Jian had already arrived, Lin Jing then left the small courtyard and headed for Liyan City. As soon as Lin Jing emerged, Zhang Jian was informed. When Lin Jing arrived, Zhang Jian couldn't help but curl his lips and said, "You really are something. Your disciple is almost facing his tribulation, and you're still not in a hurry." Lin Jing smiled and said, "Sorry for making you wait, Brother Zhang. I was refining a few batches of elixir, which took some time. It was for refining elixirs for Yi Yun. No wonder you only came out now," said Zhang Jian with a laugh. "No problem," Lin Jing replied with indifference. "Now that you're here, let's go find a place for Yi Yun to face his tribulation." Lin Jing nodded. "All right." Having said that, Lin Jing left a few instructions for Yu Qingyang and then took out the shadow escape flying boat. Next, Lin Jing and Zhang Jian got on the flying boat and drove it, leaving Liyan Island. Lin Jing's first Golden Core Thunder Tribulation took place outside the Thousand Islands domain, as did the subsequent two. Thus, under Zhang Jian's guidance, they arrived at an uninhabited island. "I had my eye on this island when I faced my tribulation before. It couldn't be more perfect for undergoing tribulation," said Zhang Jian. Lin Jing looked around. The island was barren with no trees, and even the terrain was quite flat, indeed suitable for tribulation. "All right, let's settle for this place," Lin Jing agreed. Next, the two left the flying boat and landed on the island. Lin Jing first looked around and even made a quick survey of the vicinity, confirming there were no issues. Then, Zhang Jian got busy. With Zhang Jian's expertise in formations, setting up a major formation for tribulation wouldn't take long. In just half a day, the formation was fully set up. After a further check and some minor adjustments, Zhang Jian even set up a simple concealment formation to hide the main formation. All these steps together took less than a day. Now, with the elixirs prepared and the tribulation formation completed, they just needed to wait for Yi Yun to finish adjusting his state before starting the tribulation.